Chapter 1087. On the other side, Mayan has figured everything out the moment she sees Steward Wang. It must be this dead fatty who had a conflict with her. After her talismans were fancied by Master Yin Xiao, he directly said that these talismans were drawn by Lu Ruoxuan. So, during this time, Lu Ruoxuan has been borrowing her talismans to intimidate others? Why does this truth make her so uncomfortable? Steward Yin sees her unsightly face and thinks that she hasn't calmed down. He quickly takes out a long sword and personally hands it to Mayan. This is the Flowing Light Sword, a 6th grade spiritual tool made by our master. Please accept it. Hiss, a 6th grade spiritual tool. That's a real 6th grade spiritual tool. If only I could have one. I didn't expect that Master Yin would really give out a 6th grade spiritual tool made by himself. It seems that Yi Liangshan's talismans really healed his injury. Oh, from now on, it will be more difficult to buy the talismans of the #1 store in the world. Mayan hesitates for a moment, but still takes the Flowing Light Sword. She takes out a stack of talismans and hands it to Steward Yin. I like this Flowing Light Sword very much, but I can't accept an undeserved reward, so I'll use these talismans to exchange for this Flowing Light Sword. Steward Yin was originally worried that the Yin family might not be able to buy the master's healing talismans after offending Mayan. Now that he sees Mayan handing over a stack of talismans, he is really overjoyed. Mayan turns around and hands the Flowing Light Sword to Yun Ruhan. Senior brother, I see that your sword is very low level, and it's already very shabby. This Flowing Light Sword is just right for you. Yun Ruhan suddenly widens her eyes. No, you can't, junior sister. This is your sword. Mayan smiles lightly. You forgot. I have my 7 absolute swords. I don't need other weapons. In fact, her Tian Mo Qin can change into any kind of weapon in the world after it's repaired, and it's not limited to the 7 absolute swords. According to Qi Huang, the Tian Mo Qin is a supreme holy object that can only carry the shoes of a heavenly holy object. What's a 6th grade spiritual tool? She doesn't put it in her eyes at all. Okay? Yun Ruhan's eyes slightly redden, and she finally reaches out to take it. She only says one sentence, "Thank you." Chief Steward Yin gave out the spirit tools and took the healing talismans before turning to face Lu Ruoxuan and Steward Wang. Wang Gue, you deceived your superiors and your subordinates. You disregarded Master's safety and even colluded with outsiders to deceive Master. From today onwards, your cultivation will be crippled and you will be expelled from the Yin family. Steward Wang's body trembled, and his face was filled with despair. He looks at Mayan, then looks at Manager Yin and Luo Peng, who is smiling sinisterly behind him. His mouth opened for a long time, as if he wanted to say something, but he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and his figure slowly faded away. In the Tianguang ruins, once a cultivator's soul was weakened to a certain extent, it would be forcefully expelled. Steward Wang's mind was clearly shaken, and his soul was unstable. He couldn't even stay in Tianguang ruins anymore. As for you, Lu Ruoxuan, and the mountain-breaking sect, General Steward Yin coldly looked at Lu Ruoxuan, who was trembling like a sieve, and the disciples of the mountain-breaking sect, who had terrified expressions on their faces. In the name of Master Yin Xiao, I declare that from now on, no spirit artifact forged by Master Yin Xiao, or any spirit artifact forged by his disciples, can be sold to the mountain-breaking sect or its disciples. Those who disobey will be expelled from the Yin clan. Chapter 1088. The farce of the competition in the Heavenly Light Ruins came to an end when Lu Ruoxuan and the mountain-breaking sect fled in panic. Looking at Lu Ruoxuan's sorry state and the ashen faces of the mountain-breaking sect's disciples, Mu Yin could imagine how difficult Lu Ruoxuan's days in the mountain-breaking sect would be. Thinking of this, the anger of being deceived by Lu Ruoxuan for half a month was swept away. Tianguang Ruins has announced that the annual Spirit Chef Hegemony competition of the lower 3 districts will begin in an hour. The Spirit Chef Hegemony competition of the Immortal Gathering Pavilion will begin in an hour. Hearing the mechanical voice in their heads, the people of the Xiao Yao sect were shocked. All of them looked at Ling Yusheng with burning gazes. In fact, the entire Xiaoyao sect had come to Tingguang Ruins today, not only to encourage and support Mu Yin, but also because of the spirit chef competition that they had set their eyes on half a month ago. Luo Yu swallowed her saliva. Fifth senior brother, it's all up to you today. I heard that the first in the spirit chef supremacy competition can eat in the Immortal Assembling Pavilion for free for a year. Even if I'm only in the top 5, I don't have to make a reservation at Jushin Pavilion, and it's only half the price. Ah, the spirit food at Jushin Pavilion is simply too delicious. Hearing this, the people of the Xiao Yao sect were so excited that they couldn't control themselves. Even Mu Yin grabbed Ling Yusheng's hand and looked at him expectantly. After all, the delicacies of the Immortal Gathering Pavilion were famous both in Tingguang Ruins and the real Cultivation Continent. However, the Immortal Gathering Pavilions on the Cultivation Continent only opened one each in the Azure Blue Realm and the Purple Cloud Realm. The spirit food inside was sold at sky-high prices, and unless one had an illustrious status or was extremely wealthy, they wouldn't even be able to eat it. The Immortal Gathering Pavilion in the Tingguang Ruins was much cheaper. After all, it was only the taste. The true effects of the spirit food had yet to be revealed. Even so, the price wasn't something ordinary people could afford. Not to mention, the Immortal Gathering Pavilion was overcrowded every day. If one wanted to eat, one had to make a reservation at least a month in advance. If he could obtain a year's worth of free meals in the Immortal Gathering Pavilion, slurp, just thinking about it made him feel that life was too beautiful. These people, when they were encouraging and supporting Mu Yin just now, they didn't seem to be this excited. At this moment, when food was mentioned, all of their eyes glowed with greed, and they wished for nothing more than to immediately seize first place in the Spirit Chef competition. Especially Mayan. When she was dealing with Lu Ruoxuan just now, she still had a waning interest. It was completely unlike now, when he looked at Ling Yusheng with eyes full of expectation. Facing the beautiful face of fifth senior brother, who was disguised as a man, what he saw was the delicious food of Jushin restaurant. Ling Yusheng stroked his hair, his expression a little proud, but also a little worried. I do have some confidence in my culinary skills, but most of the people that are participating in the Spirit Chef Supremacy competition this time are already renowned. It's even to the extent that Qin Miaoling, who's called one of the top 10 beauties of Tingguang Ruins, and Jiang Yi, who's known as the Gentleman Chef, are participating. Whether or not we can win in the final competition isn't completely based on our skills, but also the support of the Xiozha. It will be difficult for me to defeat these two fellows. Chapter 1089. Mayan's eyes turn to look at Luo Yunxiao, who's hiding her true appearance. She says with a beaming smile, "Young martial uncle, why don't you go and support fifth brothers?" Luo Yunxiao's cold gaze swept over him. "Don't push your luck. Ha ha ha. How can this be considered as being insatiable?" Mu Yin smiled like a little fox that had stolen a fish. "Junior martial uncle, don't be so stingy. Look, you just have to go up and stand next to fifth senior brother. You don't even need to say a word. Those crazy fans of yours will definitely vote for fifth senior brother without thinking. Otherwise, you can participate in the Spirit Chef competition as well. There's utterly no need to compete in culinary skills, and you only have to rely on your face to sweep through all your opponents. This way, we can have a free meal for the whole year." Hearing this, the people of the Xiao Yao sect nodded in their hearts. However, due to Luo Yunxiao's usual tyrannical behavior, he could only desperately hold it in. But in his heart, he kept praising, "Junior's sister is mighty. Only you have the guts to make such a request to Junior Martial Uncle." Mu Yin happily awaits Luo Yunxiao's reply. Unexpectedly, Luo Yunxiao turned her head and looked at her for a while before throwing a chilly remark at her. "Stop laughing. It's too ugly." Mu Yan's expression immediately froze. "Hey, even if you're Junior Martial Uncle, you shouldn't make such a personal attack. How is she ugly? Even if it was lowered by 100%, she was still a delicate little beauty." Before Luo Yunxiao could speak, a small head popped out from the side and screamed at the top of its lungs. Ugly, too ugly. Beauty, beauty, how can you hide your peerless beauty? If you had used your true appearance, you would have long surpassed the top 10 beauties of Tianguang ruins. There would have been no need for Master to make a move. However, even if you're not beautiful enough now, I won't despise you. Come quickly. Give this lord an incense. As Chiwen shouts, she pouts and pounces towards Mu Yin. Mu Yin has long been used to being teased by this perverted spiritual pet. She smiles and pushes it away. But who knew that this time, the chi kiss was a diversion? On the surface, he pretends to kiss Mayan, but in reality, he's throwing himself at Mayan. Mu Yin was caught off guard. She leaned back to dodge, but her feet staggered and she could no longer stand firm. However, the expected scene of being taken advantage of by the Chi, or falling to the ground did not happen. Mu Yin only feels an aura that's as cold bamboo hitting her face. Immediately after, his body was half pulled into a slightly cold embrace. Ayo! Chiwen fell to the ground and screamed. Master, you forgot your spiritual pet when you saw me. However, Mu Yin was startled. Only now did she realize that she was actually in Luo Yunxiao's embrace. Even if it was little martial uncle, this distance was too close. Moreover, that pair of eyes was very close. Usually, when seen from afar, he was calm and indifferent. At this moment, it was as deep as the sea, and there were even scorching waves surging within it like lava. With just a glance at those eyes, it was as if even one soul would be devoured, consigned to eternal damnation. Mu Yin frowns and is about to break free from Luo Yunxiao's embrace. Suddenly, his hand tightened, and his body was pulled back a few steps. Mayan lowers her head in a daze. The first thing she sees is a pair of fair and tender hands. Those hands are small, belonging to a young child. But at this time, the way he's tightly holding her hand seems to be full of overbearingness and possessiveness. Chapter 1090. But these big eyes that were as beautiful as blue obsidian were filled with unconcealable anger and jealousy at this moment. Mu Yin finally realized who it was. Mo Ju? Why are you here? Mo Ju sucked in a deep breath, then took another deep breath. Damn it, if I didn't come, my wife would have been snatched away by someone else. But in the next instant, Mo Ju lowered her long eyelashes and reached out to hug Mu Yan's thigh. In a low voice, she said, I want to see you. Mu Yan's soul returned to her body, and her heart softened at the sight of the little boy clinging to her. She had always thought that meeting Mo Ju was nothing more than a dream, but it turned out to be real. She couldn't help but think of Xiaobao when she saw Mo Ju. If Xiaobao were still by her side, he would surely be like Mo Ju, sticking close to her despite his cold demeanor. He wouldn't want to be separated from her for even a second. Junior's sister, who's this child? Yun Ruhan asked curiously. Luo Yu's eyes were sparkling, and even her cute dimples and sharp canine teeth were revealed. Sixth senior sister, he's so cute and pretty. Can I hug him? Mo Ju turned her head away, hiding her murderous intent in the shadows. Foolish mortal, you want to hug me? Not even in your next life. Moreover, he's an emperor. How could he let anyone hug him? Are you kidding me? Mu Yin smiled and patted Mo Ju's head. This is my son. Bang! Cough, cough, cough. Everyone from the Xiaorao sect, including Shiqing, burst into laughter. Junior sister, can you stop joking? How old are you? How could you have a son? Mo Ju, who was called my son by her daughter-in-law, paled. She didn't know whether to be angry or depressed. Mu Yin smiled noncommittally. Maybe I really do have a son. Everyone from the Xiaorao sect thought she was joking. Mu Yin didn't say anything else. When she found Xiaobao, she would tell them that he was her son. She was sure that everyone's expressions would be interesting then. I'm just joking. This is Mo Ju, whom I met by chance in the Tianguang ruins. Mo Ju, this is my master, junior uncle, and my fellow disciples. Mu Yin introduced everyone once. Mo Ju's cold gaze swept over the crowd. The person in front of him was clearly just a child of 5 or 6 years old. However, when those disdainful, cold blue eyes stared at them. The members of the Xiaoyao sect, including Shirqing, couldn't help but shiver. Especially Ling Yuxing, who is still holding on to Mu Yan's arm like a good friend. He even feels that the part of his arm that touched mine seems to be burning. He was so frightened that he hurriedly loosened his grip. Luo Yu, who had just thought that Mo Ju was cute and wanted to give her a hug, felt a chill run down her spine. Heavens, where did this child come from? She was clearly so beautiful and cute, like a fairy, but why were her eyes so scary? Mo Ju's unfriendly gaze swept across the crowd. He would never admit that it was because he was jealous that they could always be by Mu Yan's side that he was especially unhappy. In the end, his gaze descended onto Luo Yunxiao. Coincidentally, Luo Yunxiao also looked over. Chapter 1091. He finds every man who approaches Mayan an eyesore. But Mo Ju's intuition tells her that this pretty boy is the most dangerous. The two's eyes meet and separate in the air. Mo Ju turns her head and reaches out to Mayan with a taut face. Mayan stares blankly. Then she can't help but laugh. Oh, this little Mo Ju wants to be hugged, although the little boy in front of her looks mature, cold, and imposing. But in fact, he's just a child who longs for a warm embrace. He's exactly the same as her family's cute Xiaobao. Mayan reaches out and picks Mo Ju up. Mo Ju immediately hugs her neck, pressing her face tightly against Mayan's fragrant neck. Then, she glances at Luo Yunxiao with a cold, overbearing, and possessive gaze. It was obvious that it was declaring its ownership. As for the Di Jun's dignity, it can't be hugged? What is that? Can it be eaten? Sixth sister, he seems to be very attached to you. Luo Yu holds her face and giggles. I think the picture of you hugging him is very beautiful. Just like a painting. Mo Ju glances at Luo Yu. This is Yin Yin's junior brother? His eyes are not bad. Lung Yuma, who is at the side, butts in. Hee. I think the picture of little junior sister and little martial uncle standing together is more pleasing. Before she can finish speaking, she feels a chill on her body, and she can't help but shiver. She can't say the next sentence. Luo Yunxiao suddenly looks at Mayan and says unhurriedly, "It's almost time. Don't you want the reward for the first place?" Mayan jokes, "Of course I want it, but if little martial uncle doesn't help, we can't get the first place even if we want to." Luo Yunxiao stares at her for a moment, then turns around and leaves. Master, what are you going to do?" Chiwen bounces to catch up with Luo Yunxiao. "Don't tell me you're really going to participate in the Spirit Chef Hegemony competition for the sake of beauty." "Ha, Chiwen, don't joke around. How could little martial uncle participate in the Spirit Chef Hegemony competition?" That's right. Little martial uncle has been invited to the gilded banquet held by the Purple Cloud domain every year, but little martial uncle has never disdained to participate. You actually think that he will participate in the Spirit Chef competition? Ha. This joke is too funny. Chi Wen's slender body bounces in the air. She looks back at Mu Yin and lets out a wretched laugh. Let's wait and see. Everyone laughed and joked around as they followed, discussing how to raise Ling Yuxing's ranking along the way. Mu Yin followed behind with Mo Ju in her arms, walking leisurely. Noticing Mo Ju's tense expression, he couldn't help pinching her smooth cheeks. "What's wrong? Are you unhappy?" Mo Ju looked at her expressionlessly. Mayan has an inexplicable feeling of palpitation, and the action of pinching his face also stops. Although this Mo Ju is very similar to Xiaobao. However, the aura emanating from his body made her feel a chill in her heart. Mo Ju said slowly, "You want to win the first place in the Spirit Chef tournament?" Mu Yin smiles and says, "Yes, but it's not that easy." She pauses, looking a little lost and absent-minded. It's said that the Jushin restaurant's spiritual food is top-notch. I want to taste it and see if it's similar to his cooking. Who? Is it that pretty boy? Mo Ju's voice suddenly rises. Chapter 1092. Mo Ju stretches out a small hand, murderously pointing in the direction Luo Yunxiao left. Mayan bursts into laughter, What gigolo? Brat, you have no manners at all. This is my little martial uncle. Saying that, she even slaps his little butt. Why is this Mo Ju the same as Chi Huang, always calling little martial uncle a gigolo? Lord Dijun had never been slapped in the butt before, and his blue eyes widened abruptly. He glares angrily at Mayan. You, don't be rude. Mayan can't help but chuckle when she sees his taut little face, puffing out his cheeks as he tries his best to release his pressure. Why does Mo Ju's angry and Sunra look more and more like Diming Ju? She can't help but kiss that fair and tender little face, beaming. What if I'm being rude? Mo Ju's face flushed red in an instant, but her aura was like a punctured ball that was leaking out of her body. In short, I hate that gigolo. He grits his teeth. Don't get too close to him. Mayan's smile widens. Why? Is it because he's better looking than you? He's better looking than me? Mo Ju's whole body is about to explode. You said you weren't thinking about him. Ben Jun's appearance is unparalleled under the heavens. How can a mere gigolo be better looking than Ben Jun? Jun Mayan, have you gone blind? Or do you want to climb the wall? Mo Ju was about to explode. If he was in Diming Ju's body right now, he would definitely need this woman in his arms and ruthlessly punish her. He would let her know who was the best looking. Mayan stares blankly at his angry accusation, then bursts into laughter. Did you think the person I was talking about was Little Martial Uncle? How could that be? I've never even seen Little Martial Uncle cook before. She is silent for a moment, the smile in her voice vanishing, leaving only tenderness and a touch of sadness. I was talking about my fiancé. When he was by my side, he would cook for me all kinds of delicacies. His cooking skills were very good. No matter how ordinary the ingredients were, they would become delicious delicacies in his hands. I was born without any talent in cooking. Later on, I was forced to separate from him. Since then, I have never seen him again, and I have never tasted that delicacy again. Mu Yan's voice was light and faint, but it was as if she was holding a rare treasure, gently protecting it and carefully recalling it. She didn't notice that the anger on Mo Ju's face had long since disappeared. It was completely replaced by a burning passion that seemed to overflow. His hands were clenched into fists, and his veins were visible. Her long eyelashes drooped, concealing the surging pain and longing in her blue eyes. You want the prize for first place in the Spirit Chef competition? How about I help you get it? The child's voice was crisp and tender, but it carried an undeniable hoarseness. Mu Yan snapped out of her reverie. When she saw Mo Ju's resolute expression, she couldn't help but burst into laughter. Forget it. With your small physique, you might not even be able to pick up a spatula. This time, Mo Ju didn't get angry. Instead, she wrapped her arms around Mo Ju's neck and whispered in her ear, "No, as long as you want it, I'll give it to you." Mu Yan's heart suddenly jumps. Chapter 1093. But before she could react, Mo Ju has already broken free from her embrace. Grabbing her hand, they head towards the direction of Jushin Pavilion. Wait a minute. Why do I have the illusion that I'm being dominated by Mo Ju, but also being spoiled? Is she missing Diming Ju so much that she's in a trance? When Mayan and the others arrived at the Jushin Pavilion, the entire restaurant was already packed with people, rubbing shoulders with one another. Wasn't it said that the Immortal Assembling Pavilion will first carry out an elimination of the spirit chefs that have registered to participate and select 10 spirit chefs with superb craftsmanship? And then they'll only allow these 10 spirit chefs to make an appearance to carry out the true spirit chef competition? How come so many people have gathered at this hour? Yun Ruhan sighs. Every year, when Jushin Pavilion holds the spirit chef competition, there are countless people who come to watch and taste the spirit food. Many people have come early to reserve a spot. Luo Yu says with a bitter face. I was thinking that if I could enter the innermost part, I might be able to cheer for fifth senior brother. Shi Qing's eyes turn. He glances at Mayan and suddenly shouts, Yi Liangchen is here. Whoever wants to buy a third-grade healing talisman, just change places with us. And you can reserve it in advance. Mayan. The surrounding crowd is quiet for a moment, then immediately shouts rise and fall. I'll change. I'll change. My position is good. Grandmaster Yi, my position is not good, but I only want second-grade talismans. Thus, after a quarter of an hour, Shurqing promises to give out 10 variant third-grade talismans, and the Xiaoyao school people's seats are switched to the innermost part. Mine's mouth twitches. Master, you can't cheat your disciple like this. Shurqing is all smiles as he grabs his beard, unspeakably proud. How can this be called cheating my disciple? Isn't the idea this master came up with not good? Now, we can cheer for your fifth senior brother. I'm so nervous. I don't know if fifth senior brother can enter the top 10. Definitely not a problem. Fifth senior brother's spirit food is so delicious, especially that 100 Li Xian. It's really the best thing I've ever eaten. Hey, where's Junior Master? Why haven't I seen him? Yun Ruhan smiled and said, Little Marshal Uncle hates crowded places the most. He must have left long ago. Muyan was also looking around for Mo Ju. From the moment they entered the Immortal Gathering Pavilion, Mo Ju had broken free from her grasp and disappeared without a trace before she could react. However, Muyan already had the experience of his sudden disappearance last time. She guessed that he might have left Tianguang ruins for something, so she didn't take it to heart. Meanwhile, the surrounding crowd was in a heated debate. Exactly who would be able to obtain the championship in today's Spirit Chef Supremacy competition? It's definitely Miss Qin Miaoling. Whenever I think of the way her slender hands handle the ingredients, I'll start drooling. Any food that passes through Miss Qin's hands will become an exceptional delicacy. How can Qin Miaoling be compared with the gentleman chef, Jiang Yi? If it's up to me, the champion of the Spirit Chef competition this time is surely young Master Jiang. Time passed by amidst the chatter of the crowd, and soon it was 5 p.m. The Spirit Chef contest of Congregating Immortal Pavilion has begun. Now, let's welcome the 10 Spirit Chefs that have emerged from the competition. In the assessment of the high-ranked Spirit Chef just now, the one who obtained the 10th place is Chapter 1094. The 6th place goes to you, Luo Shenghua. The shopkeeper of the Immortal Gathering Pavilion saw Ling Yuxing walking out leisurely in a woman's palace dress. Luo Yu jumped up from her chair happily. It's fifth senior brother. Fifth senior brother really succeeded. Ha! I knew fifth senior brother would advance to the next round. Fifth senior brother is so good. Even Mu Yin couldn't help smiling. Fifth senior brother's culinary skills were really good. It was natural that he could advance. But the strange thing was that the people of the Xiaoyao sect were excited about Ling Yuxing's advancement. Standing on the stage, he was in a trance and looked back from time to time as if he had lost his soul. Even the appearance of Qin Miaoling and Jiang Yi didn't attract any of his attention. At this time, the shopkeeper of the Immortal Gathering Pavilion had already read the 2nd place of the Spirit Chef ranking. But he paused and said with a trace of disbelief, The first place of the first round of the Spirit Chef competition is Xiao Yunluo and Mo Ju. Below the stage, Luo Yu blinked and looked confused. Xiao Yunluo? Isn't that the pseudonym of little senior uncle? Did I hear it wrong? And why did I hear Mo Ju's name just now? Mu Yin stood up abruptly and stared at the stage in disbelief. It couldn't be, right? Mo said he was going to participate in the Spirit Chef competition and help her win the first place. Could it be that he really went to participate? What kind of joke is this? He's just a little bean. Can he really hold a spoon? Just as this thought flashed through her mind, she saw 2 figures slowly walking towards the stage. The moment the people of the Xiaoyao sect saw these 2 figures, the noisy Immortal Gathering Pavilion fell into a strange silence. The people of the Xiaoyao sect stood up abruptly and stared at the stage, as if their eyes were going to pop out. Wait a minute. That man who stood on the stage with his face concealed, but no matter what, he couldn't hide his elegant demeanor. Who else could it be other than their young martial uncle, Luo Yunxiao? There was another one, a handsome little boy with an expressionless face. Needless to say, it was Mo Ju, who was with Mu Yin just a moment ago. The Star Wolf, who had been following Mo Ju in the shadows, staggered, and nearly fainted. Heavens! That was their supreme Emperor Lord, the dignified Lord of the Polar Domain. He actually went to participate in some Spirit Chef tournament. Who would believe it? Has the world gone mad? Or am I crazy? Little Marshall Uncle actually went to participate in the Spirit Chef tournament? Fourth senior sister, quickly hit me and see if I'm dreaming. Could it be that the most terrifying thing isn't? It's fine if young Marshall Uncle and that kid, Emoju, went to participate in the Spirit Chef competition, but their rankings are actually higher than 5th junior brothers. No, they're actually tied for first place? The people of the Xiao Yao sect looked at each other in dismay. Could it be that little Marshall Uncle's culinary skills are better than 5th senior brothers? Could it be that a 5-year-old kid's cooking skills are better than 5th senior brothers? The Spirit Chef tournament had officially begun. Logically speaking, in this Spirit Chef tournament, Qin Miaoling and Jiang Yi should be the ones that attracted the most attention and received the most support. But the strange thing was that in the Immortal Gathering Pavilion today, everyone couldn't help but cast their gazes in two directions. One was a delicate and handsome little boy that looked like a porcelain doll. Chapter 1095. This was clearly a Spirit Chef competition, yet the gazes of everyone were infatuated as they stared at the two figures, and they were unwilling to move their eyes away. In fact, he even forgot to observe how they cooked and what they cooked, until the shopkeeper announced that the spiritual food would be distributed to the guests. Everyone was muddle-headed and didn't know what day it was. Luo Yu picked up a piece of Luo Yunxiao's spiritual food and put it into his mouth, the fragrance spreading between his lips and teeth. He said with a bewildered expression, "If the people in Jushin Pavilion knew that the spiritual food they ate was personally cooked by young Master Yunxiao, I'm afraid they would all go crazy, right?" In the corner, Xing Lang had a sacred expression as he tasted the spiritual food Emoju made, and tears streamed down his face. Ah, the food cooked by Jun Shang was really too delicious. This group of stupid mortals, how could they eat Jun Shang's food? It would be great if he could snatch it all. No. How could their polar domain's most supreme sovereign lord go and do this kind of kitchen work? Bastard, it's all that woman Jun Mayan's fault. Esteemed guests, please start voting. The voting results will be automatically tabulated by Tingguang Ruins. As the shopkeeper spoke, a huge projection appeared behind him. It showed everyone's name in Tingguang Ruins, as well as the 0 votes behind them. All the guests in Jushin Pavilion received the notification from Tingguang Ruins asking them to vote. Mu Yin stared blankly at the delicious food in front of her, unable to recover for a long time. This taste, this aura. Why did it give her a familiar feeling even though it was clearly a different cooking method? Mu Yin couldn't help but look up at the delicate and pretty little boy. Could that be him? Impossible? Absolutely impossible, right? Could it be that after her ears were hallucinating, her taste buds were also hallucinating? At this time, Mu Yin heard the beeping notification from Tingguang Ruins. Voting countdown 10, 9, 8, 7. Mu Yin suddenly recovered and looked up, only to find that on the projection. Emoju and Luo Yunxiao's votes were far ahead and almost exactly the same. The mechanical notification from Tingguang Ruins became more and more urgent. Mu Yin smiled and gave her answer. At the very center of the Tingguang Ruins was a core known as the Dreamy Cloud Swampland. Over the years, almost no one knew about this place, and no one could enter it. However, at this moment, the figure of a white-robed man slowly stepped into this place. The man had a handsome face that could captivate all living things and steal the colors of the mountains and rivers. The moment he entered the Dreamy Cloud Swampland, the entire Tingguang Ruins shook. A blinding red light shone in the swamp. In the air, there seemed to be a faint voice saying, "Warning, identity verification in progress. Matching successful." After a long time, a mechanical voice sounded. "Young master, what instructions do you have?" The man's expression didn't change in the slightest. "Track Emoju." As soon as he finished speaking, a huge crystal ball appeared in the center of the Dreamy Cloud Swampland. In the middle of the crystal ball, a little doll with a cold expression appeared. Chapter 1096. The stiff mechanical voice says, "Apologies, young lord. This person's identity cannot be traced. Would you like to activate the core authority?" The man is silent for a moment, then shakes his head. "No need." His expression is still the same as before, his handsome face unperturbed, but those pair of dark eyes are flashing with a frightening light. The man turns to leave, but when he reaches the entrance of the dreamy cloud lake, he suddenly stops. Jushin Pavilion's Spirit Chef Hegemony Competition. He slowly says in a low magnetic voice, "Bring up the voting results." "As you bid, young lord." The mechanical voice replies, and the crystal ball flashes. Soon, a line of information appears. The man's pupils contract the moment he sees the information. In the end, something seemed to flash across that calm and handsome face. Moju's name is closely followed by a familiar, yet unfamiliar name. Yiliangchun. Moju, Yiliangchun. Those two names are closely next to each other, as if they should complement each other's radiance, inseparable. Shoshin Continent, Polar Domain. Xinglang, what happened to Junshang in Tianguang Ruins? Why did he expel us all from the recuperating soul house as soon as he came back? Elder Chang is anxiously pacing around outside the recuperating soul house. Xinglang hangs his head silent. He won't say that Junshang washed his hands and cooked soup for that hateful woman in Tianguang Ruins, even if he dies. But in fact, Xinglang also doesn't know what happened to Junshang. The final result of Jushin Pavilion's Spirit Chef Hegemony Competition ended with Junshang narrowly winning against that guy called Luo Yunxiao. An insignificant mortal actually sat on equal footing with Junshang and almost won against him. Xinglang was half dead with anger at that time, but Junshang was expressionless. After giving the prize to that woman, Jun Mayan, he directly returned to the polar domain and shut himself in the recuperating soul house. Hanyi anxiously says, "Could it be that something happened to Miss June? How about I go to Xiujin Continent to take a look?" Ingmei simply says, "I'll go." No one is allowed to go. Xinglang sneers. That woman is very good, and even hooks around behind Junshang's back. Junshang was angered by that slut. Before Starwolf could finish speaking, a bone-chilling dagger was already pressed against Starwolf's neck. Ingmei looked at him coldly. "If you dare say one more word against Miss June, I'll cut off your tongue." Starwolf's eyes were cold. "Ingmei, do you really think I'm afraid of you? What kind of bewitching potion did that woman feed you to make you so loyal and devoted? Could it be that even you have been charmed by that woman?" The killing intent on Ingmei's face suddenly emerged. However, before she could make a move, Hanyi has already lifted his foot to ruthlessly kick Xinglang's abdomen. The Star Wolf suffers from the pain, retreating several steps back. He glares at Hanyi. "Hanyi, what are you doing?" Hanyi sneers. "These words, if you have the ability, say them in front of Junshang. Or, do you want me to pass on what you just said to Junshang?" Star Wolf's face paled as he flew into a rage out of humiliation. "You! All of you shut up!" A bone-chilling, deep voice suddenly rang out. A piercingly cold, murderous intent pervades the air. The hearts of everyone in front of the recuperating soul house turn cold, and they stare over. They don't know when, but a tall figure has slowly appeared outside the recuperating soul house. "Pajun, since when have you been standing guard here?" Even Elder Chang is startled. Chapter 1097. As soon as his voice falls, thousands of sword chi radiates from his body, sweeping all around like a gale. Xinglang and the others retreat again and again, finally catching their breaths with great difficulty. Elder Chang is treated so rudely, but he's not angry. Instead, he's happy. Junshang has summoned you back. Does that mean that he's about to come out of seclusion? Defeating armies lowers his eyes, holding a giant blade in both hands, not saying a word. His body stands straight like a stone statue. Soon after, all of his aura disappears into the air. Defeating armies, one of the 4 great imperial guards of the polar domain, the leader of the Ghost Murder Division. He's also the sharpest and most loyal sword in Di Mingju's hands. Han Yi, Ying Mei, and Xing Lang are also the four great imperial guards, but they all climbed up from the bottom of the polar domain. They only followed Di Mingju after he became the emperor of the polar domain. Only defeating armies. No one knows where he came from. Even Elder Chang doesn't know. When Di Mingju was young, he suddenly appeared at Di Mingju's side one day. For 1,000 years, he led the polar domain's fiercest ghost murder division, only loyal and obeying Di Mingju's orders. Loyal and devoted, never changing in the slightest. Defeating army's appearance means that Di Mingju is about to enter true seclusion. In other words, Jun Shang will soon recover from his injuries and come out of the soul-nurturing house. Elder Chang and the others are pleasantly surprised when suddenly the entire polar domain and the soul-nurturing house shake violently. What's going on? An energy so powerful that it makes everyone tremble erupts from the soul-nurturing house, instantly engulfing the entire huge polar domain. It's clearly nighttime, but the entire polar domain is alarmed. Because of the main hall of the polar domain, the entire sky above Lingxiao Hall is as bright as day. In the pitch-black night sky, a resplendent, blazing sun slowly appears. At the side of the blazing sun, a new moon also slowly appears. That new moon isn't perfect, nor is it bright, but it responds to the blazing sun's light, complementing each other, slowly approaching little by little until they completely fuse. This is Sunhorn Falling Moon. Someone cried out in surprise, and then became overjoyed. This really is the Sunhorn Falling Moon. Our Junshang has advanced. Haha, Junshang's cultivation is already at the top of the Xioshin continent. Now that he's promoted, our polar domain is even more invincible. Long live the ruler! Long live the polar domain! Outside the soul-nurturing house, Elder Chang and the others were in tears after recovering from the shock. The light of the House of Healing Souls flickered and finally disappeared. This means that the soul-nurturing house has completed its mission and has thoroughly healed Di Mingju's injuries. The small and crude room disappeared and was replaced by a magnificent palace and a handsome man who sat on the bed with unparalleled majesty. Everyone knelt down in unison. "Greetings, Lord!" Elder Chang looked up with tears in his eyes. "Lord, you've finally recovered." Not only did he recover, but his cultivation had also gone up another level. Di Mingju slowly opens his eyes, gazing at his confidant who is kneeling on the ground. He slowly says, "Summon all the hall masters of the polar domain. Ben Jun has something to explain." "Yes, my lord." Once everyone in the hall has left, Di Mingju lowers his head and slowly looks at his palm. He was already unreconciled that he could only see Mayan in the Tianguang ruins. Furthermore, she was using the identity of Mo Ju, a child who couldn't do anything at all. He wants to go to the Xioshin continent. He wants to go to Mayan's side. Chapter 1098. He wants to hold Mayan's body in his arms and not be held by her like a child. He wants to wash Yin Yan's hands and make soup in reality, and see his Yin Yan reveal a satisfied smile like a little fox. He wants to personally clean up all the pretty boys around Yin Yan and declare his sovereignty to the world. He thinks of Mayan's so-called younger martial uncle and Mayan's words, "You're jealous that my younger martial uncle is better looking than you." Di Mingju's expression changes from tender and penetrating to gnashing his teeth. "Jun Mayan, just you wait for Ben Jun. Ben Jun will soon let you know who is your husband and who is the man you should look at." Xiaoyao School. Achoo! 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 In the morning, Mayan gets up on time to learn swordsmanship from her younger martial uncle. As a result, she sneezes 3 times in a row. Little Phoenix worriedly asks, "Beautiful sister, are you sick? How about you take a good rest today?" Chi Huang holds the spirit-peering chess in his hand, playing with Little Phoenix while gloating. "It must be because my character is too bad. Someone is cursing me behind my back, haha." Mayan casually waves her hand and overturns Chi Huang's chess piece, but places Little Phoenix's chess piece one step away from the finish line. Little Phoenix holds the dice in his mouth and tosses it. Oh, it's just at the finish line. She immediately jumps up and down happily. Ah, Qiuqiu won. Haha. Qiuqiu won for the first time. So happy. So happy. Qi Huang is seething with anger. Junmayan, you actually helped this broken bird cheat. This game doesn't count. Let's do it again. Mayan smiles and rubs his head, then touches Little Phoenix's increasingly solid and smooth fur, and says with a smile, don't always bully Qiuqiu. Be careful that my son comes back to settle accounts with you. With Mayan's support, Little Phoenix is suddenly full of life, extremely cocky. That's right, that's right. When little brother comes back, he will definitely support Qiuqiu. Qi Huang, don't think about bullying me again. I'm not easy to bully. Mayan plays with the two brats for a while, and seeing that it's almost time, she hurriedly leaves. As soon as Mayan leaves, Qi Huang immediately looks at Little Phoenix. You have the guts to complain? The Little Phoenix shrank back a little, hugged its head with its wings, and retreated back while whimpering. Qi Huang approaches step by step. A sinister smile appears on Ma Yingli's bewitching face. Are you very proud that Junmayan has your back? Oh, Qiuqiu was wrong. Qiuqiu won't dare to do it again. Please spare me, Lord Seven Brilliance. Whoa, little big brother, Fat Bunny, why aren't you back yet? If you guys don't come back, Qiuqiu will be bullied to death by Seven Brilliance. At this time, Mayan was deep in the abyss of fire and water, so she couldn't hear Little Phoenix's crying. She didn't know if it was an illusion, but she felt that youngest martial uncle had trained her very hard today. In the past, Luo Yinxiao would usually throw her a set of sword techniques or sword formations. He let her explore by herself and occasionally gave her a few pointers. But today, Luo Yinxiao was fighting against her in a real battle. What kind of strength does Luo Yinxiao have? Even if Mu Yan's strength has advanced by leaps and bounds, it's still not enough. Under Luo Yinxiao's hands, he couldn't even last 10 moves. What to do if she couldn't endure it? After being knocked down, she would get up again, and there wouldn't even be time to catch her breath. Chapter 1099. She seriously suspected that it was she who urged her young martial uncle to participate in the spirit chef competition yesterday. In the end, junior martial uncle lost to that little doll, Emoju. That was why he felt indignant and took it out on her. One must know that she had already witnessed little martial uncle's petty and vengeful nature. Mu Yin curses in her heart, but a ring is suddenly thrown in front of her. She was startled. This was obviously a storage ring. Why did little martial uncle give it to her? There are 3 sets of sword techniques, talisman templates below the 6th grade, and the blood-slaughtering sword formation disc. Luo Yunxiao's clear and bright voice suddenly awakens Mayan's thoughts. Little martial uncle, why are you giving me these? Mu Yin thought in horror. Could it be that junior martial uncle wants to increase her training load? Don't joke around. She was already in dire straits, okay? If she increased the training load, she could just die. Luo Yunxiao turned her head and looked at her. Her elegant eyes didn't change at all. I'll leave the Xiaoyao school in a while. You can learn these things by yourself later. Mayan stares blankly. She didn't expect to hear this sentence. Little martial uncle, you're leaving? She had just been cursing Luo Yunxiao in her heart for being so narrow-minded. Now that he heard that she was leaving, he felt a little disappointed. In this half a month, she had already gotten used to waking up early and returning late, and her strength had also improved by leaps and bounds during this time. Little martial uncle was not an easy person to get along with, but Mu Yin could feel that he sincerely wanted to teach her. In Mu Yan's heart, she has already regarded little martial uncle as an elder like Shurqin, a relative like Yun Ruhan, and the others. Luo Yunxiao didn't answer her. She just nodded and turned to leave. However, he didn't go in the direction of the Xiaoyao sect. Instead, he went directly into the Tianxian Mountains. Mayan gazes at his departing figure from afar. She takes out the Tian Mo Qin and plays it softly, as a way to send little martial uncle off. In the Merak mountain range, Luo Yunxiao stood in the middle of the mountain, looking at the girl playing the zither alone through the layers of trees. She didn't move for a long time. Beside his ear, Chiwen was crying and complaining. Master, why are we leaving? I haven't kissed Mai Yanyan yet. He had not even shared the same bed with Mei Yanyan. I haven't even taken advantage of her beauty yet. Why are we leaving just like that? Luo Yunxiao looked over coldly. Chiwen immediately fell silent. After a while, she continued fearlessly, "Oh, I almost forgot. Master, you've never kissed Mei Yanyan, and you've never shared the same bed with Mei Yanyan, and you've never taken advantage of Mei Yanyan. Chiwen understands your sadness, so I won't expose your scars again." Splat. Chiwen was flung to the ground and stomped flat. When he finally recovered, he found that his master had already gone far away. "Ah! Master, wait for me!" "Master, I'm telling you, you're so cold and have such a bad temper. You'll lose your beauty, and you'll lose me." Luo Yunxiao's footsteps paused slightly as she looked at the distant horizon. The corners of her mouth curled into a mocking and cold smile. How could he lose something that had never belonged to him? There was nothing in this world that truly belonged to him. Never ever. Mine turns her head and tells the people of the Xiaoyao school about Luo Yunxiao's departure. Chapter 1100. Yun Ruhan exclaims, If you didn't mention it, I wouldn't have realized it." This time, youngest martial uncle actually stayed in the sect for more than half a month before leaving. Luo Yu laughs mischievously. It must be because of sixth senior sister that youngest martial uncle stayed in the sect for so long. Youngest martial uncle treats sixth senior sister differently. Lung Yuma excitedly jumps up and down. Haha, youngest martial uncle isn't here. This old woman can have no scruples again. Little junior sister, let me tell you, you don't know how tired this old woman had to be when youngest martial uncle was in the sect. Ha, this old woman is finally free. Ling Yuxing is also in high spirits. Oh, with youngest martial uncle gone, this servant is the #1 beauty of the Xiao Yao sect again. Little junior sister, tomorrow we'll go to the market to buy some rouge and face powder. With youngest martial uncle here, no matter how I dress up, I can't compare. It made me sad for a long time. I don't even have the mood to put on light makeup. Mu Yin. She was the only one who was sad for youngest martial uncle's departure. What's with this cheap camaraderie? Fall. Although Luo Yunxiao has left, Mu Yan's daily sword practice has already become a habit, and she hasn't missed a single day. She clearly knows that in order to establish a foothold in the cultivation world, to find Xiaobao and Di Mingju, she needs enough strength. However, what makes her more worried is that her strength has been improving, but her cultivation has stagnated, staying at the early stage of Anidia. Even Luo Yu's cultivation has risen to the 3rd stage of Anidia a few days ago. Only she seems to be stuck at the early stage of Anidia. Shi Qing and Yun Ruhan also helped her look, but they couldn't find any clues. When Shi Huang hears her doubts, he immediately ridicules. "I said that you're an ignorant woman, and you still want to argue with Ben Zun. Don't you know that you have a perfect body forging and a perfect Anidia? Since it's a perfect Anidia, it wouldn't be divided into 9 stages, but only 2. Either it's the worst early stage of Anidia, or it's a step further, reaching the great circle of Anidia and preparing for core formation. Those people are all ordinary Anidia." You ask them, how could they know? When Shi Huang said these words, he felt especially comfortable. Especially after seeing Mayan's astonished expression, he becomes even more complacent. This Jun Mayan, Tian Shi Xiang comes after Shi Xiang, little martial uncle comes after little martial uncle. But in the end, when they encountered a huge problem, they still asked for my help. Mu Yin, however, did not pay attention to Qi Xiaowang's smugness. Instead, she said thoughtfully, "So, the so-called perfect forging body, perfect abstinence, and even the perfect Jinan that may appear later is 1 step to heaven and 1 step to hell. If I can't break through the barrier and reach the peak of Anidia, my strength will remain at the beginner level of Anidia. It will be impossible for me to improve greatly." Qi Huang rejoices in her misfortune even more. That's right. Many people with perfect Anidia may not be able to cross that hurdle in their entire lives. In the end, their fates are even more miserable than ordinary Anidia. Junmine, don't fall into that kind of fate. Mayan coldly glances at this cocky youngster. My strength can't go up. Do you think I can find the materials to repair the Tian Mo Qin? If I can't repair the Tian Mo Qin, Qi Huang, you will have to stay in this space for the rest of your life. Qi Huang's smile froze, and he had no choice but to admit it angrily. Chapter 1101. Muyin no longer paid attention to him, and instead, she took out the talisman that junior martial uncle had left for her. She had basically learned how to draw third-grade talismans. Therefore, little martial uncle had left her talismans of the 4th grade and above. 4th grade and above seals, in theory, were for Jindan and above Xiuzhi to use. So it went without saying that the probability of successfully drawing a talisman of the 4th grade or above was naturally far lower than a talisman of the 3rd grade. Similarly, the price of a grade 4 talisman was more than 100 times that of a grade 3 talisman. A 3rd grade talisman, the best, could be sold for 1,000 low-grade crystal stones and a piece of middle-grade crystal stone. But a 4th grade talisman, the worst, could be sold for 5 mid-grade crystal stones, and the best could be sold for 100 mid-grade crystal stones. Even so, a 4th grade talisman was hard to come by in the entire Tianguang ruins. Muyin closes her eyes and revolves the spiritual power within her body. The cinnabar brush in her hand slowly descends. Clear runes appeared on the talisman paper. The Tian Mo Qin on the side is also gently plucked, and an incorporeal pure energy pours into the rune. As more and more runes appeared, the energy on the talisman paper became more and more full, and the sound of the zither became louder and louder. Suddenly, flames rose and the talisman paper burned. Muyin sighs softly and puts down the brush. At the side, Qi Huang sneers and says, Ben Jun has already said that the Shun musician's talisman master assistance can only be activated when one reaches the 4th level. Although you've combined the sound of the zither with your spiritual power to draw a 3rd grade talisman, it's just borrowing and transforming the Cloudborn Sea technique. It can't be regarded as a real talisman. As for the talismans on the cultivation continent, TSK, can they even be counted as talismans? In this sovereign's eyes, those are not even comparable to trash. Muyin takes the Tian Mo Qin and gently plays it. The sound of the zither was intermittent. Sometimes it was like crying and complaining, and sometimes it was agitated. As the sound of the zither resounds, Mayin's divine soul also seems to be drifting away. However, the emotions that he had been suppressing all these days suddenly burst forth. Where was Xiaobao? Was he really safe? Ever since Xiaobao was born, he had never left her side for so long. Would Xiaobao be lonely in the dead of night? Would he miss his mother? How she wished that she could become stronger and find Xiaobao as soon as possible. But Xiaobao, where are you? Gradually, a silver moon appeared behind Muyin, and there seemed to be a faintly discernible 7-colored light shining from afar. A gust of wind blew into space, causing the earth to shake and the mountains to shake. Qi Huang was startled. His eyes darkened as he stared incredulously at the girl who was playing the guqin with her eyes closed. Her Shun musician skills were about to advance? How is this possible? From the time she got the Tian Mo Qin, it has only been a short year or so. More than a year, Even the once most amazing and brilliant Shoki Kagami needs at least 2 years to advance to the 3rd rank of Shun musician. But now, in less than 2 years, she was about to advance to the 4th stage? Junmine, what kind of evildoer are you? And what was that 7-colored light? It's like it's coming from the distant horizon, calling out to Mayan. Qi Huang stares at Muyin in a daze for quite a while. It's only when he realizes that the energy of the Shun musician's advancement is about to break through the space of the Tian Mo Qin that he suddenly comes back to his senses. With a light wave of his hand, a huge barrier enveloped the entire space. If Muyin were awake at this time, She would certainly be shocked that Qi Huang's power has advanced to such a level in such a short time. And the space of the Tian Mo Qin is also becoming more and more stable with each passing day. Chapter 1102. He whispers, "The faster Jun mine advances, the stronger Shin Zun will be. This is something to be happy about, isn't it?" Yes, this is the best direction, the best result. Qi Huang slowly closes his eyes, covering all the light at the bottom of his eyes. Azure Blue World, Danyang Mountain Range. It's the dead of the night, when everything is silent. But all of a sudden, the earth shakes, and the night becomes as bright as day. A dazzling light shines from the depths of the mountain range. What happened? Don't know? Why did the earth dragon suddenly turn over? Is there a big disaster coming? Did you see it just now? There seems to be a sun and a moon at the end of the mountain range. Are you kidding me? Today is cloudy, with thick clouds, no stars, and no moon. Moreover, how can there be both a moon and a sun at night? Did I really see it wrong? After a small shock, the Danyang mountain range returns to calm. The awakened crowd also slowly dispersed. Everyone thought that the strange phenomenon just now was just a small earth dragon turning over, and no one took it to heart. However, no one noticed that just now, at that moment, the spiritual energy of the entire Danyang mountain range was completely absorbed. The spirit beasts in the mountain range violently rioted. But soon, the spiritual energy was replenished from all directions, calming down the spirit beasts and mutated spirit plants. Not far from the Danyang mountain range, dozens of figures have landed outside a boundary. Just now, I did feel that the boundary of the secret territory has loosened. Could it be that someone has entered the secret territory? How is that possible? The boundary of this secret territory can only be opened with a unique array disc. Several of us elders work together and spend most of our spiritual power to open it. Who can get in? What's more, this secret territory has existed for thousands of years, and there has never been any accident. In any case, we still have to go in and have a look. This secret territory hides the most supreme treasure of our sect. If it is lost or damaged, no one can afford it. Dozens of people discuss for a while outside the secret territory, and finally, one by one, the figures enter the boundary. In the space, Mayan slowly opens her eyes and somewhat dazedly plucks the strings of the zither. A shallow smile suddenly appears on her face. This time it's really a pleasant surprise. Unexpectedly, she broke through to the 4th level of the Shin musician. However, the higher the level of a Shun musician's skills, the harder it is to master them. It would take a long time for her to master the new skills or upgrade her original skills to level 4. Muyen sorts out the Shin musician's current skills. The skills of a Shin musician are mainly divided into 4 main categories: medicine, martial arts, alchemy, and music. Among them, the skills belonging to Doctor included Frowny Face Cloud Dispersing Mist, Dispels Inner Demons, Aids in Cultivation, Benevolence of the Saint, Transferring the Qi of Heaven and Earth and one's own Qi to a dying person, Echo Recovery. Through music, one can recover one's Qi or spiritual power in a short period of time. After reaching level 4, he could assist 100 people at the same time. Martial skills include Frowny Face Zither Sound Blade, using musical notes to form a blade to attack a group of people. After leveling up to level 4, the user can release nearly 100 sound blades at the same time. 7 Sword Spirit, a close-range attack skill. The Tian Mo Qin transforms into a 7-colored illusory sword, and when the 7 swords become one, it becomes the 7 swords. Prison on the Ground, a control skill. The enemy is unable to move within a small area. Chapter 1103. Graceful Feather. Auxiliary combat skill, greatly increasing one's own fighting power and reducing the enemy's fighting power. The duration depends on the amount of spiritual power in mind's body. The skills belonging to Dan include Frowny Face Spring Snow, assists in refining drafts. Cloud-born Jiehai, assists in refining elixirs. The skills belonging to music include Frowny Face Flourishing Life, gives life to inanimate objects, allowing weak life to flourish. After reaching the third level, there is a derivative skill, Myriad Plants Resonating. Using this skill, the information of all spirit grasses will enter her mind through intertwining sound waves. Summer Bug's Language of Ice manipulates insects for one's own use. But so far, she can only manipulate the lowest level of insects. Floating Like a Dream weaves dreams with the sound of music. There are sweet dreams, and naturally, there are nightmares. Realm of Stars. The initial effect is similar to floating like a dream, making people indulge in a dream. It can cure diseases and hurt people. But after reaching the third level, the star field is incomparably powerful. It is also Mayan's biggest trump card. Mayan slightly congeals her eyes. Just as Chi Huang said, after her Shun musician skills reached the fourth level, she really grasped a new skill, Mutual Compatibility Contract. This skill is classified as one of the 4 major skills of the Shun musicians, but it's not used for alchemy. Instead, it's used for drawing talismans. Mayan's eyes shine brightly, and she picks up the Cinnabar talisman paper to give it a try. Just then, the sleeping little phoenix suddenly jumps up shouting, "Little big brother, little big brother." Mayan hears her shouting for Xiao Bao. How could she still care about drawing talismans or mutual compatibility contract? She drops the pen and rushes to the little phoenix. "Chio, what's wrong with Xiao Bao?" The little phoenix's big red eyes are wide open, staring blankly for a long time. Then, crying and laughing, it says, "Beautiful sister, I see little big brother. I finally see little big brother again. He's with Fat Rabbit, and Fat Rabbit is sleeping in little big brother's arms." Boo-hoo-hoo, Chio misses little big brother. Chio also wants to sleep in little big brother's arms. Mayan quickly interrupts it. "Where is Xiao Bao? How is he now?" Little Phoenix blinked his eyes before continuing. "Little big brother is fine." Because little big brother suddenly broke through and advanced so Chio can see him. "Pretty sister, little big brother has become very, very strong now. Look, Chio's body is getting more and more beautiful, and the flames are getting more and more powerful." With that, little Phoenix excitedly spat out a mouthful of fire. Originally, the fire that little Phoenix breathed out was like candlelight, only warm, without any lethality. The little Phoenix spits fire in circles. "Beautiful sister." The little Phoenix turns and turns. "Beautiful sister." And little sister, but before he could make 2 rounds, he was slapped into the scorched earth pit by someone. Chi Huang gritted his teeth and said, "Damn bird, who told you to destroy this sovereign space? This is space of Tian's Qin. Chi Huang is the spirit of the Tian Mo Qin. Therefore, this space naturally belonged to him." "Hoo-hoo," little Phoenix cried and threw himself into Mu Yan's arms, begging for his beautiful sister's comfort. Of Mu of Qin of Xiao, S, Chi Xiao Mu Xiao. Cheese Chi, Tian, Chio's face stiffens, and he no longer dares to go forward in anger. Mu Yan doesn't care about this brat spirit, and nervously asks little Phoenix. In other words, Xiao Bao is fine now. Chapter 1104. Little big brother is very good now. Oh, not good either. Little Phoenix nestles in Mayan's arms, nodding and shaking his head. Chio seems to have sensed that someone is approaching little big brother. Those people smell as stinky, but little big brother is hiding, so they can't find him. Little big brother, is the smartest and most powerful. Those stinky bad guys can't find him. Mayan's expression turns cold. Her heart seems to be clutched by something. Someone wants to harm her Xiao Bao. Although Xiao Bao is hiding, what if he's found? Chio, try to recall. What are there around Xiao Bao? Little Phoenix tilts his head, blinks his big eyes, and thinks hard for a long time, then says with some uncertainty, Chio seems to have seen a kind of red flower. A large piece, so beautiful. Bunny is still eating flowers. Cho feels that those flowers are very dangerous, but Bunny is eating them very happily. Beautiful sister, do you think these flowers are really that delicious? Little Phoenix swallows his saliva. If it's delicious, Cho also wants to eat it. Mayan touches Little Phoenix's head. Can Cho describe the flowers to Sister? Sister wants to find Xiao Bao. She wants to see her baby. She misses him like crazy. She has never been separated from Xiao Bao for such a long time in his life. Mayan takes out a pen and paper, and under Little Phoenix's description, she draws the flowers little by little. The sea of red flowers in Little Phoenix's mouth is indeed very strange. This kind of flower only has a stem without leaves, and there are even silver lines on the petals and stem. Mine has never seen it before. She has never even heard of it. The next day, Lung Yuma gets up early in the morning, preparing to go to the back of the mountain to bully the birds and beasts. Just as she enters the courtyard, she sees a person sitting in the gray morning mist. Third brother, it's early in the morning. You're scribbling again. Ah, junior sister, how come it's you? When she sees the person clearly, Lung Yuma's complexion immediately changes. There's no longer the carelessness of teasing Chu Moli on her face, and she rushes over. Junior sister, what's wrong? Why do you look so haggard? Mine opens her mouth. I didn't, however, before she could finish. Lung Yuma had already roared, a bunch of heartless bastards. Why are you still sleeping? All of you wake up. You only know how to eat, and sleep. Our little junior sister is tired out by you guys. Mu Yin. Her words of, I'm fine, are stuck in her throat by this roar. After a while, the entire Xiaorao sect was in chaos. Everyone had gathered in front of Mu Yin. Shi Qing is even wearing only one shoe, jumping up and down around Mu Yin. Yin Yan's good disciple, what's wrong? Have you been too tired lately? Or are you sad that your junior martial uncle has left? Why don't I call your young martial uncle back? Ling Yuxing frowned and said, he must be too tired from drawing talismans all day. Little junior sister is just a little girl who's too weak to stand up to a gust of wind. How could she do the crude work of drawing talismans every day? Look, now little junior sister is tired to the point of falling ill, right? Junior sister, if drawing talismans is too strenuous for you, then don't draw them in the future. We have earned enough spar now. Little junior sister, don't draw talismans. I will go hunt for you. Chapter 1105. Right, junior sister. You don't have to do anything else. Leave it all to us. Stop. Mayan finally couldn't bear it anymore and shouted, can you guys listen to me first? I'm fine, it's just that I spent the whole night strolling around Tianguang ruins, so my primordial spirit is a little overconsumed. Saying that, she didn't wait for her fellow apprentices to speak again. She quickly took out a painting. Have you guys seen this kind of flower? 6 heads came together, looking left and right. What a strange flower. It doesn't have leaves. And those silver lines look so strange. Junior sister, do you like flowers? I'll go to the mountains to pick them for you later. Seeing that they didn't know, Mayan couldn't help but sigh dejectedly. In fact, she didn't have much hope. Last night, she had already searched a big circle around Tianguang ruins. She even contacted the Yin family's steward and asked Master Yin Xiao if he had seen this kind of flower. However, Yin Xiao was a refiner after all, and had never studied spirit plants and spirit herbs, so he gave her a regretful answer. This is the red lotus of Snow Domain. An aged voice suddenly rang out. Mayan suddenly raised her head and looked at her master, Shi Qing, with a burning gaze. Master, do you know this flowers? Shi Qing's face didn't have the usual mischievous smile. Instead, he said with a serious expression, Good disciple Yin Yan, do you want this kind of flower? This kind of flower is inauspicious. It's best not to touch it. Inauspicious? Don't touch it? Mayan's heart thumped. Would Xiao Bao be in danger next to these flowers? However, she quickly remembered what Little Phoenix said, that the fat rabbit was happily eating these flowers. That meant that these flowers were not dangerous for the fat rabbit, but could even be a tonic. Moreover, the fat rabbit would never let Xiao Bao be in danger. Thinking of this, Mayan breathed a sigh of relief. Master, I'm not looking for these flowers. I'm looking for a person. He's in a place very close to these flowers. This person." She paused, her voice slightly hoarse. "This person is very important to me. I must find him." Mayan's eyes were fixed on Shurqing. "Master, please tell me, where can I find this snow red lotus?" The other people of the Xiaoyao sect also said, "Master, just tell Junior Sister." "That's right. Even if the red lotus snow domain is dangerous, we can just help Junior Sister search for it." Shurqing scratched his head, frowned, and left without saying a word. After half an hour, he slowly walks back, takes out a piece of craft paper, and unfolds it in front of Mu Yin. Mu Yin glances at it, and immediately, she can't make heads or tails of it. It was actually the enrollment announcement of the 4 academies. In the immortal cultivation continent, there were many academies and sects of various sizes. However, most of the academies charged tuition fees and recruited unaffiliated cultivators without much talent for profit. However, there were 4 great academies in the cultivation continent. It was a place that all Xiuzhi, and even the elites of large sects, flocked to. The 4 academies were Longting Academy, Fengtian Academy, Starlight Academy, and Lingwu Academy. Among the students who entered these academies, there were loose cultivators who were not well known, and there were also elites from various large sections. However, every single one of these students was an extremely talented individual. The academies generally only accepted students for 4 years. After 4 years, the cultivators who graduated from the 4 academies would return to their original sects and families. Chapter 1106. Almost every one of these Xiuzhi's status had risen with the tide. The 4 great academies would recruit students once every 4 years. However, the people of the Xiaorao sect had never thought that this had anything to do with them, because even if they did not pass, they would still have to pay a large sum of crystals. The people of the Xiaorao sect were too poor. Even if they had crystals now, they would not spend them on something like this. "Master, why are you showing us the notice of the 4 colleges? Are you telling us to take the exam? Don't joke around. Participating in an assessment requires a mid-grade crystal stone. The 4 academies are simply robbing." Yes. With that crystal, why don't I go to Jushin Pavilion and eat to my heart's content?" Shurqing looked up at Mu Yin. "If you want to find the red lotus, go to this college and try. Maybe you will have a chance." Mu Yin's eyebrows twitched. She looked down at the place Shurqing was pointing at. Starry School. Starry School was located in the center of the azure blue world and ranked 3rd among the 4 colleges. It was near the Danyang mountain range to the north and the Woodfern Sea to the west. It was the oldest college on the cultivation continent. Mu Yin took a deep breath. "Okay, I'll go to Starry School." As long as she could find her little treasure, she would go to a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Since 6th senior sister is going to the college, I'm going too, Luo Yu said immediately. The others agreed. "Let's go too." "Yes, our little junior sister is so pretty. What if she gets bullied in the college? We have to protect our little junior sister." If our little junior sister gets bullied, it's good enough that she doesn't bully others. Shurqing stroked his beard and laughed. Okay. You can all go to Starry School. But if anyone can't pass, don't tell others that you're from the Xiaorao sect. It's embarrassing." Yun Ruhan was stunned. "Master, you're not coming with us?" "Yes, Master. There's no one left in the Xiaorao sect anyway." "Master, you can come with us to Starry School. We have crystals now and can rent a big house." Shurqing, on the other hand, had a look of disdain on his face. "Master is living well here. I have wine to drink and meat to eat. Do you think I'm stupid to follow you to that lousy academy?" Scram. "This old man has been annoyed to death with you guys for a long time. I can't wait for you troublemakers who have nothing better to do to leave as soon as possible." "But Master, you'll be left alone in the sect." "What's wrong with being alone? An old man like me is still free and unfettered." Yin Ruhan said seriously, "Junior brothers, you guys accompany little junior sister to the Starry School. I'll stay here with Master. Accompany what? Shurqing glared at him with a look of disdain. Either all of you leave, or all of you stay. If any of you dare to stay, don't blame me for kicking you out of the sect. Tomorrow morning, all of you are to depart. Do you hear me? After saying that, he turned around and left. Muyin looks at his back and bows deeply. Thank you, Master. What are you thanking me for? When you've made a name for yourself in the Starry School and found the person you're looking for, you can come and thank me. Late at night, Muyin lay on the bed and found it hard to sleep. She had a feeling that there were countless secrets hidden in this seemingly poor and destitute Xiaoyao sect. Chapter 1107. The Curse on the Fifth Senior Brother. And the powerful fighting power of the other senior brothers, who are unknown in the cultivation continent, and the junior uncle, who is sought after by the whole cultivation continent, but no one knows that he belongs to the Xiaoyao school. Everything indicated that they were burdened with an extraordinary past. But no matter what kind of past they have, their concern for her is real and warm. In Muyan's heart, these people have become her family that she wants to protect and care for. Master, are you sure that we can catch the Xiaoyao school in one fell swoop tonight? You won't let those portraits get out? Nonsense. Today, all the people I brought with me are experts at the fasting stage. The Xiaoyao school and that bitch, I'll skin them alive. Muyin suddenly sits up on the bed. She squints her eyes and curls her lips into a cold and bloodthirsty smile. She was worried that her master would be left alone in the Xiaoyao sect without anyone to take care of him. In the end, someone was blind enough to come to her door. That's great, since her master insists on staying in the Xiaoyao school in the Tianxian Mountains. Then she will find more people, or even the whole Guiyi sect, to accompany her master. The night is dark and windy, and everything is quiet. The 7 people of the Xiaoyao school are quietly walking in the wilderness of the Tianxian Mountains. Qingjiu is carrying Su Qing, whose face is bruised and swollen. Because he is walking in a big way, he often accidentally bumps Su Qing's head on a rock. Su Qing wails in pain from time to time. Junior sister, are you sure we want to talk to the Guiyi sect? Yin Ruhan is still worried. The Guiyi sect is used to being overbearing. I'm afraid they won't listen to us. Instead, they will blame us for making them lose face. Muyin chuckles. I just asked Elder Su. He told me very enthusiastically that most of the elite disciples of the Guiyi sect have left for the Spirit and Martial Arts Academy to participate in the entrance examination. Su Qing shivers and secretly grits his teeth. Is this a question? She's clearly trying to torture me to death. What a hateful woman. Why is it that he has hired 10 experts at the fasting stage, but he is still defeated by the people of the Xiaoyao school? When Su Qing thought of his current situation, which was caused by his own hands, his intestines turned green with despair. As for the head and elders of the Guiyi sect, there are only 3 high-level gold core cultivators. But one of them is traveling, and the other 2 are in seclusion. The strongest one is only at the 9th level of fasting. Yun Ruhan's back stiffens. Junior sister. Why do you ask? Muyin chuckles. Even in the darkness of the night, the girl's smile was so clear, so bright, like a flower blooming in the morning light. Master, sect won't listen to senior. Sect will brother. Since they won't listen, I'll beat them until they do. Of the sect sister Yun sect brother, sect, Yun spirit of brother, Yun sect sect is sect, sect is brother. Senior brother, sect members are a continent Yun family sect sect clan. Brother Yun sect, sect members of the brother of a sect family. Sect, there are only 7 of us. Chapter 1108. What's more, the holy sect is used to being domineering. What if they bully Master after we leave? Yun Ruhan and the others nodded in agreement. Don't be fooled by Shurqing's usual sloppy appearance. His cultivation was also unfathomable. However, he had a strange persistence that made people sad. For example, the first sect master of the Holy Sect had helped the Xiao Yao sect. Therefore, even though the Holy Sect had been oppressing the Xiao Yao sect and collecting protection fees, he had never resisted. If they left with Master's temper, he might really be bullied by the Holy Sect. Moreover, if they all left and left Master alone, even if Master didn't say anything, he would definitely feel lonely, right? Mu Yin smiled and said slowly, "Therefore, before we leave, we have to beat the whole East sect until they are afraid and obedient. While you're at it, let them go to our Master every day to meditate, serve tea, and have fun." Luo, you couldn't help but laugh. "Little junior sister, are you really not dreaming? The Holy Sect must be crazy to agree to our request." Su Qing shouted at the top of his lungs, "Jun Mu Yin, stop dreaming. Even if my Gui East sect doesn't have any Oris core stage elders, we still have hundreds of disciples. Half of them have already reached the Enidia realm. If you want to barge into the Gui East sect at night, just wait to be torn into pieces." Mu Yin turned around and looked at Su Qing with a faint smile. "We'll know in a while whether or not I'm dreaming." The night was cold, and the crescent moon was like a hook. The melodious sound of a zither lingered around the whole East sect. On the tall plaque of the sect, a girl in a white gown was sitting in the air, playing the zither with both hands. A cool breeze blew her clothes, and the bright moonlight fell on her jade-like face. Her eyebrows were lightly swept, and her appearance was unparalleled. This was the most beautiful moonlight, the most melodious music, and the most moving scenery. But in the eyes of the whole East sect, it was a scene that made all of them tremble. Blade light whistled, and sword shadows flew. When all the disciples of the whole East sect were beaten to the ground, 5 figures elegantly returned to their original positions. Refreshing, truly refreshing. Lung Yuma spat out the blood in her mouth and laughed heartily. "I have never fought so happily before. Little junior sister, what song did you play just now? Why do I feel like my cultivation has increased greatly after listening to it?" "That's right, 6th senior sister. My puppet has also become much more powerful." The 5 vanguard fighters of the Xiao Yao sect all had smiles on their faces. Even Yun Ruhan, who was usually the most composed, was excitedly circulating the spiritual energy in his body. However, when the zither music stopped, that majestic feeling of mastery disappeared without a trace. How could there be such a magical piece of music in the world? It could actually allow a person's strength to continuously increase along with the instrument. Mu Yin lightly jumped down from the whole unitary sect's signboard. At the same time, the signboard fell to the ground and broke into 2. Mu Yin smiled and said, "I told you, I'm a music doctor. Treating illnesses with music, fighting with music, and assisting with music are what I'm good at." Chapter 1109. The needle and thread in Ling Yuxing's hand disappeared without a trace. Stroking her hair, she smiled. "Although I don't like rough fighting and killing, it's not bad if it's as carefree as this time." That's right, that's right. 6th senior sister, you only need to play the zither in the back. Fighting, this kind of rough work, just leave it to us." "Ah." Mine brushed her hair that was blown away by the wind, then said unhurriedly, "All right, ah. Then many thanks for everyone's concern." Yun Ruhan coughed lightly. "But junior sister, even if we overturn the whole sect, how can we make them obediently serve Master?" As soon as this question came out, Mayan's brows curved, her expression crafty. She looked at Chu Moli, the only one who didn't participate in the fight. "5th senior brother, what do you think?" Chu Moli smiled faintly and didn't speak. The others, however, snickered sinisterly. Eldest senior brother's question is really too pure. Isn't it easy to make them obedient? Of course we'll use the old way. Strip them naked, put them in the right posture, vividly portray their most beautiful image on paper. Junior sister, don't you think so? Mayan nodded with a smile. There are too many people this time, so we won't draw a single portrait. Draw a few group portraits according to the different courtyards of the whole sect. Fifth senior brother, I'll have to trouble you again. Chu Moli's face was modest and gentle, smiling sweetly. It's no trouble, it's my pleasure. Yun Ruhan turned her head and covered her face. Why did he always feel that these junior brothers and sisters of his sect were overflowing with oil? Now, they were even more outrageous because of the junior sister. Under the moonlight, Su Qing looked at the disciples who had been stripped naked and were drawing in graceful postures. He didn't know whether he should rejoice or want to die. What he wanted to die was that Mayan, this audacious demoness, actually overturned the entire whole sect. Only 7 people, actually overturned the entire whole sect. Who would believe it? Fortunately, he and his disciple weren't the only ones who were left with shameful evidence and being threatened. For some reason, he felt a little happy. What should he do? Mu Yin slowly walked up to the elders of the whole unitary sect who were drawing a group portrait. Since these people didn't completely offend the Xiao Yao sect like Su Qing, Mu Yin gave them some face when she painted the Guai sect's disciples and elders. Not much. Basically, it was a translucent gauze that was as thin as a cicada's wing. Otherwise, it would be a doo-doo that could barely cover the important parts. The poses she made were, at most, the drunken concubine or arching the bow to shoot eagles. Unlike Su Qing and the others, who were lovey-dovey, gentle arms and limbs intertwined. However, the elders of the whole unitary sect didn't appreciate it. Those pairs of eyes glaring at Mu Yin, wishing that they could spit fire. Who exactly are you? Mayan smiles, Jun Mayan of the Xiaoyao school. Thank you for taking care of my school all these years. Tonight is a small gift in return. All these years, although they had Elder Feng's protection, there were many times when Elder Feng didn't come out of seclusion. From Yun Ruhan, he learned that the Xiaoyao school had more or less been exploited by the whole unitary sect. But because there was too little profit, the whole unitary sect didn't want it, so they could often escape. Chapter 11:10. Her master had previously received kindness from the whole East sect's first sect master, so she did not mind. Eldest senior brother was magnanimous and tolerant, so he allowed them to bully him. But she, Jun Mayan, was not one to swallow her anger. If people respect me, I will respect them tenfold. If people step on my head, even if I don't exterminate them, I will definitely return it 100-fold. Xiao Yao sect, Jun Mayan. Suddenly, an elder exclaimed, "You are the Jun Mayan who made the Li Fire sect's Elder Qian vomit blood in Windless Square?" A holy sect disciple beside him also exclaimed, "Ah, it's Jun Mayan. It's actually that demoness Jun Mayan." What demoness Jun Mayan? You haven't even heard of this? This demoness Jun Mayan appeared out of thin air in Min Lu Domain. And the moment she appeared, she destroyed the #1 family clan in Min Lu Domain, the Ning family. Later, when she came to Windless Square to participate in the sect selection, she went on a killing spree in the assessment, scaring all the participating disciples to the point of pissing their pants. Even the Li Fire sect's Elder Qian's beloved nephew was killed by her, causing him to vomit blood in anger. I heard that in the market, someone provoked this demoness, causing her to go on a killing spree. That market was filled with rivers of blood and corpses. Just the number of heads alone was in the hundreds. That Ning family, a few hundred people, and a brothel called Heavenly Fragrance Brothel were all killed by this demoness. I also heard that it's better to provoke the Li Fire sect's elder than to provoke that demoness Jun Mayan. Is Elder Su crazy? To actually provoke this evil god? Woo woo woo. Could it be that today is the day of my whole East sect's destruction? Demoness. No. Female ancestor, female goddess. We were wrong. Please let us off. In the future, we will no longer dare to exploit other small sects, and we will no longer dare to bully the weak. Elder Su was even more dumbfounded, followed by a look of horror and despair. Demoness Jun Mayan. This woman actually had such a fierce reputation? Why was he so ignorant and ill-informed? He had actually never heard of it before, to the extent that he had provoked such a monstrous disaster. When he thought about how he was about to be dismembered into 1,000 pieces and even implicate the entire whole Guei sect, Su Qing, who had always been unyielding and never begged for mercy, even when he was painted naked, couldn't help but cry until his face was covered in snot and tears. He knelt down with a thud. "Evil woman. No, Miss June, I was wrong. All of this is my fault. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Don't take it out on my sect. I'm willing to kowtow to the heroes of the Xiao Yao sect." Su Qing knelt in front of Yun Ruhan and the others and begged with all his might, "Master Yun, I really know my mistake. Please ask the demoness." No. Ask Miss June to spare my whole unitary sect." "Mu Yin, I'll be damned if I believe you. When did she turn the market into a river of blood and litter with corpses? When did she exterminate the Ning family and slaughter a brothel? She even went on a killing spree during the examination. Who did she kill? You can't slander someone's reputation like that." The people of the Xiao Yao sect were laughing so hard that they were about to pass out. However, in order not to be noticed by the people of the Guei sect, they all kept their composure. Chapter 11:11. The more Yun Ruhan said, the more scared the people of the Guei sect became. They felt like they were going to see the king of hell. Mu Yin took a deep breath and was about to speak. The elder of the Guei sect, who had been very tough, said with a trembling voice, Miss June, I admit that the Guei sect suppressed the Xiao Yao sect before, but Elder Feng still protected the Xiao Yao sect. For Elder Feng's sake, I ask Miss June to let my whole unitary sect live." "Mu Yin, what the hell do you want me to say? Can't you just let me speak properly?" Mu Yin took a deep breath, then another deep breath. A creepy smile appeared on her face. "I can let the Guei sect go, but you have to promise me one thing." "Damn, didn't you call me a female devil? Didn't you ask me to speak properly? Then I'll show you the female devil." Usually, Shurqing would sleep until the sun was high up in the sky. Especially if he drank the night before, he would often have a hangover. But when he remembered that today was the day his disciples were going to leave, he opened his eyes as soon as the sun rose. Shurqing stared at the dilapidated and dusty roof. His expression was absent-minded and distant. He didn't know if his decision was right or wrong. Could those kids really leave the Xiao Yao sect? Could they really show up in front of everyone? But if he didn't let them go, was he going to trap them in the Xiao Yao sect forever? Plus, he felt that, the moment he saw Mu Yin, he felt that this girl might bring them a turning point. Even if this turning point was full of holes and thorns, it was better than a pool of stagnant water. Alas, after these kids left, the Xiao Yao sect would be deserted again. It was time for him to have some peace. Shurqing revealed a low smile and sat up on the bed. His movements were so light that he didn't make any sound. He didn't want to see these kids off. He just wanted to watch them leave from afar. He would let these kids think that he was drunk again last night and forgot to see them off. Since these children were going to leave, then they would go far away, resolutely, and never look back. Unexpectedly, just as Shurqing moved slightly, the door to the room was pushed open. Shurqing stared blankly, only to see that the person who came in was an unfamiliar man. As soon as this person saw him, he immediately revealed a kind and attentive smile. He bowed slightly and strode forward. "Sect Master Shur, you're awake. Do you need to wash your face and rinse your mouth? Or do you want your disciple to help you dress first?" Glancing at Shurqing's tattered and smelly clothes at the side, the man immediately said, "Aya, these clothes are so dirty and tattered. How could we let Sect Master Shur wear them? This grand disciple will get someone to buy a new one for you." Shurqing, what the hell? The world had changed after he woke up from his sleep? "Who are you?" Hearing Shurqing's blunt question, the man immediately replied respectfully, reporting to sect leader Shur, "My name is Luo Dapeng, and I am the subordinate of Elder Su of the whole unitary sect. We've heard that the Xiao Yao sect is short of manpower, and we've always admired your character. Elder Shi, so we've come to serve you. What? A disciple of the whole unitary sect? Shi Qing was completely dumbfounded. Chapter 11-12. The Xiao Yao sect, which used to be empty, was now filled with people. Some were cleaning, some were decorating, and some were planting spiritual plants. Even from the direction of the kitchen, there was smoke rising in spirals, and the direction of the food. When they saw Shi Qing, they immediately bowed respectfully. Greetings, sect leader Shi. Their eyes were filled with excitement, expectation, and a bit of fear. But when facing Shi Qing, they all revealed flattering smiles, as if they were trying to suck up to Shi Qing. Shi Qing was shocked to find that there were elders of the whole sect among them. Without waiting for Shi Qing to ask, those elders covered their faces and hid far away. However, they were very nimble in wiping the dust off the beams and removing the weeds in the courtyard. What the hell was going on? Yawn. Lung Yuma was the first to come out of the room and yawn. When she saw Shi Qing, she immediately greeted, "Good morning, master." Shi Qing pointed at the whole sect disciples and asked, "What's going on?" "Oh, them?" Lung Yuma yawned again. "They said they admire you, master, so they volunteered to come to the Xiao Yao sect to clean." Shi Qing was speechless. "I'll be damned if I believe you." One after another, Yun Ruhan, Chu Moli, Ling Yuxing, and Luo Yu came out. They all yawned as if they hadn't woken up yet. However, when they heard Shi Qing's question, they all gave the same answer. "Alas, master, we don't know either. The people of the whole unitary sect are very friendly and helpful. We can't refuse them." "Master, you're asking us if we threaten them? How could we?" "Master, we're all good kids. We don't fight for no reason. Besides, the holy sect is a good neighbor of the Xiao Yao sect. Why will we fight them?" "Absolutely not. Elder Su, don't you think so?" Elder Su's face was full of tears as he said, "Yes." Luo Yu giggled. "Look, master, they admire you and like to help their neighbors. That's why they volunteered." "Oh, I didn't expect the holy sect to be such a friendly sect. If I had known, I would have talked to them more." Crying Storm. "No, we don't want to talk to you. We don't want it all." Chu Moli also said unhurriedly, "If master doesn't believe me, you can go to the whole unitary sect and ask. We can get these people to deceive you, but do you think we can get the entire whole unitary sect to deceive you?" This time, Shi Qing was really suspicious. He found an elder he knew, stopped him, and asked, "Did you really come to the Carefree School to help?" The elder blew on his beard, his eyebrows trembled, and his face trembled. He was just about to speak. Suddenly, the last door creaked open, and a beautiful girl in white slowly walked out. She looked even more haggard than Yun Ruhan and the others. His whole body swayed as he walked, as if he would fall asleep at any moment. Chapter 11-13. Sob, sob, sob. How could they not help? If they didn't help, they would be tortured to death by the female devil. Shi Qing. If this goes on, even he will believe it. What should he do? On the other side, when the people of the Xiaoyao sect saw Mu Yin, they immediately went up to her excitedly. Junior sister, if you are tired, lean on me to sleep." "Bah, if Junior sister needs to lean on me, of course she should lean on me. Get out of my way. Men and women shouldn't touch each other. Stay away. Only I can get close to Junior sister." "Fifth senior brother, you're also a man, okay? Sixth senior sister and I have the best relationship. Let me help her." A group of people actually fought over who should help Mu Yin. In the end, Lung Yuma used her valiant strength to beat all the men to the ground and successfully let the fragrant and soft junior sister lean on her to sleep. Ah, life is so beautiful. Seeing this scene, Shi Qing looked at the Xiaoyao sect that was gradually changing, and a smile slowly appeared on his face. "Master, we have to go. You have to take care of yourself in the sect." Shi Qing sighed softly, then waved his hand as if he was shooing away flies. "Go, go, go, go. You have said this many times. Even if you don't find it annoying, I do. This old man is still very healthy. You little brats might have died, but this old man is still alive and kicking. Mu Yin stepped forward and handed a jade key to Shurqing. Master, in this jade key, 1/9 of the income of the old master is number 1 in the world shop will be automatically transferred into it every month. If you are short of crystals, you can take it from there. She paused and said, recently, the shop's income is not that much, but it will increase in the future. Master, if you want to buy the whole Tianxian Mountains, or even all the wine in the world, it will not be a problem. I will make the Xiao Yao sect the wealthiest sect on the cultivation continent. Shurqing originally wanted to refuse, but after hearing Mu Yan's words, he could not help but laugh. You little doll, you can talk big without panting. Fine, fine, fine. Master will keep this jade key. Okay? Mu Yin smiled lightly. She knew that her master did not believe her, but she never lied. After Mu Yin left, everyone from the Xiao Yao sect knelt down and kowtowed to Shurqing. Even Chu Moli, supported by Qin Jiao, knelt before Shurqing. Master, thank you for giving me a second life. This is the first time that Mayan has seen Chu Moli's normal and dignified expression. When it was Luo Yu's turn, the adorable youth's eyes turned red and tears streamed down his cheeks. Master, Xiao Qi shouldn't apply for the Starry School. Xiao Qi has been by your side since she was born. You raised Xiao Qi single-handedly. Xiao Qi doesn't want to leave you. Shurqing patted Luo Yu's head, his voice choked with emotion. Little Seven, be good. There's only sand and dust on the ground here. There's only a rundown sect and an old man. What's the point of staying here? Follow your senior brothers and sisters and be well. Master will wait for the day your name is known by the whole continent. The drizzle fell in the breeze. Shurqing looked up and closed his eyes as he watched the children disappear into the sky jade mountain range. A muddy tear rolled down from the corner of his eye and fell into the dust. He hoped that when these children left, they would face a bright future and a smooth road. He hoped that they would be safe. Chapter 11:14. The voice of a whole East sect disciple suddenly came to his ears. Shurqing came back to his senses and smiled helplessly. Okay, my disciples are gone. You don't need to pretend anymore. Go back to the whole East sect. This old man doesn't need you to work hard to please and serve him. Who knew that the whole East sect disciple shook his head like a rattle drum? How can that be? We are all willing to serve you, sect leader Shur. And every 7 days, we have to change the people who serve you. It was not easy for me to get the position. Oh no, it was my turn. How can it be hard? It's really not hard at all. Shurqing. So, what did my good disciples do to the disciples of the Holy Sect? However, seeing these whole East Sect disciples, the original trace of fear disappeared after Mu Yin and the others left. Only flattery, and excitement were left. Shurqing shook his head and smiled, enjoying their service with a peace of mind. Oh, this is obviously the work of Yin Yin's good disciple. Sure enough, it was the best decision he made in his life to accept this disciple. On the other hand, the whole East Sect disciples were excitedly counting with their fingers. If they served this old man for a day, they could get a mutated third-grade talisman. 7 days, 7 mutated third-grade talismans. A third-grade talisman was worth 1,000 crystals. That was 7,000 crystals, 7,000 crystals. Ordinary sect disciples like them. Even if they worked in the sect for 8 to 10 years, they still wouldn't be able to earn that much. Whoever didn't fight for it was a fool. Tianxian Mountain Range. Junior sister has been unconscious for a long time. Will she be okay? Yun Ruhan shook her head. Junior sister said she wanted to find a way to earn crystals quickly, so we shouldn't disturb her. The people of the Xiaoyao sect now knew that Mu Yin had a portable space. On the cultivation continent, although portable spaces were rare, they were still possible to exist, just like a mustard seed. Even the people of the Xiaoyao sect more or less had some secrets and treasures. So, after knowing that Mu Yin had a portable space, they were not so surprised. A way to earn crystals quickly? Ling Yuxing was worried and doubtful. Could it be that little junior sister is desperately drawing talismans? And in the end, she has exhausted all of her spiritual power and is on the verge of death. Bah, bah, bah. Fifth senior brother, can't you say something more auspicious? Yun Ruhan interrupted them. It's getting dark. Let's go find some food and hunt some spirit beasts. We can eat them when junior sister wakes up. Second brother, stay here and guard junior sister. Don't let her get hurt by wild beasts, understand? Chinju nods again and again. He straightens his tall and sturdy body that's like a small hill and sits next to Mayan. His large eyes are like copper bells, and he stares unblinkingly at her. Occasionally, a little bug would fly to Mu Yan's side, but it would also be blown away by his fan-like palm. Eldest senior brother told him to protect little junior sister, so he must protect her well. Right at this moment, the sound of noisy footsteps came from afar. Occasionally, there were screams of men and women. Be careful. Quick, run. Ah, the sky-shaking bear is here. Chinjio abruptly stands up, blocking the sleeping Mayan. Almost at the same time, a group of 7 or 8 people appeared in the forest. These people seemed to be in a hurry, and their faces were filled with panic. There were no ferocious beasts behind them. However, the earth-shaking roars were getting closer and closer. Chapter 11:15. Just then, a purple-clothed woman, who is the leader of the group, suddenly throws something towards Chinjio. Chinjio uses his hand to block it, and immediately feels his hand covered in blood. Immediately after that thing falls to the ground, Chinjio discovers that it's actually the corpse of a bear cub. Moreover, it's a newborn cub. Chinjio looks over in astonishment, not understanding why this group of people wants to throw something at him. A youth beside the purple-clothed woman exclaims, "Senior sister, how can you throw the cub's corpse to him? The sky-shaking bear won't let him go like that." What are you yelling about? The purple-clothed woman sneers. It's better for him to be killed by the sky-shaking bear than for us to be killed by it. All right, let's hurry and run. With someone as a scapegoat, that sky-shaking bear naturally won't chase us again. But he's innocent. Baiyang, don't say it. Do you want us all to be buried with him? The youth is quickly dragged away by his companions. Before leaving, he turns back and yells at Chinjio. The sky-shaking bear is coming. Quickly run. Chinjio blinks his big bell-like eyes. His brain isn't very good. At this moment, he doesn't even understand that this group of people wants him to be a scapegoat. He just looks on helplessly as this group of people enters the jungle, not stopping them. Not long after, a huge black bear, mixed with monstrous anger, comes rushing over here. When it smells the blood on Chinjio and sees the corpse of its child, the sky-shaking bear roars and madly pounces towards Chinjio. Chinjio's eyes widen. His feet take a firm horse stance, his body slightly leaning forward. The powerful spiritual power inside his body revolves, and he suddenly punches. Boom! After the loud noise, the sky-shaking bear's huge body sways, and it lets out an anguished howl. Then comes an even more furious roar and a blazing flame. Facing the sky-shaking bear's fierce attack, Chinjio is happy and fearless. His powerful spiritual power madly revolves. The sky-shaking bear's corpse finally falls heavily to the ground. The ground shakes violently, and dust flies up. Chinjio is still gasping for breath, but he doesn't even think about it. He slightly leans his body forward, blocking the sleeping Mu Yin, not letting even a speck of dust or grass fall on her body. Fortunately, the commotion just now did not wake up little junior sister. Just as Chinjio was thinking, she heard the messy footsteps coming back. Heavens, he actually killed the sky-shaking bear. That's a 6th-rank spirit beast. Junior sister Bua, do you think we should go back and have a look? Of course I'm going back. If we hadn't killed that bear cub and lured the female sky-shaking bear out, he wouldn't have been able to kill a 6th-rank spirit beast. No matter what, we must have a share of the spoils. A tier 6 heaven-shocking bear. That body was full of treasures. He definitely couldn't waste it. After making sure that Mu Yin hasn't woken up, Qin Zhou's gaze falls on the corpse of the heaven-shaking bear. He recalled that his fourth junior sister had long said that she wanted to eat bear paw. He also remembered that Xiao Qi had said that it would be great if he had the bones of a sixth-rank spirit beast as material for the puppet. A happy smile appeared on his honest face. When fourth junior sister and seven saw this bear, they would definitely be happy. Hey, we found that sky-shaking bear first. You should at least give us half of the treasures on the bear. Chapter 11:16. The leading purple-clothed woman looked at him with a matter-of-fact expression. She didn't feel that it was shameless of her to want a share of the loot after framing someone else. Qin Zhou frowned and said, No, this is... I killed it. It's mine, you can't take it. As soon as Qin Zhou said this, everyone was stunned at first, then they burst into laughter. He looks so strong, but he's actually an idiot and a stutterer. I killed it. I've never seen such a country bumpkin. I say, blockhead, which sector are you from? Qin Zhou blushed. I'm from the Xiaoyao sect. Xiaoyao sect? Which corner of the world is this broken sect from? How come I've never heard of it? Qin Zhou hurriedly said, Xiaoyao sect, unbroken. Very good, junior brother, junior sister are all very good. However, the more anxious he was, the more he stuttered. In the end, he couldn't even speak clearly. The 7 or 8 people rocked back and forth in laughter. Only the youth called by Yang blushed and hurriedly said, Don't laugh anymore. Senior sister Bua, let's go. After all, we didn't kill this heaven-shaking bear. We don't have the qualifications to take it by force. Hua Bus sneered. Bai Yang, shut up. If we didn't lure the heaven-shaking bear out, how could this idiot kill it? Furthermore, what use would the sky-shaking bear be if it came from a broken-down sect and had no brains? I think we don't need to leave half of it for him. Let's take it all. With that, she went forward to snatch the body of the heaven-shaking bear. Qin Zhou hurriedly tried to stop her. No, you can't. Junior sister likes it. I killed it. I want to give it to junior sister and Xiao Qi. Hua Buf frowned. Disgusting idiot. Don't touch this, ladies. At this moment, someone exclaimed, do you guys see? There's someone lying there. These words immediately attracted everyone's attention to Mu Yan's direction. When the sleeping girl's face and figure entered their eyes, almost everyone present sucked in a breath of cold air. So beautiful. Is this a mountain spirit? Or a fairy that has fallen into the mortal world? He saw the girl sleeping soundly under the shade of the tree. Her skin was as smooth as ice, and her bones were as white as the moon in autumn. Her long eyelashes covered her beautiful eyes, but they couldn't hide her stunning beauty. Hua Buel was also stunned for a moment. Then, undisguised jealousy appeared on her face. However, she rolled her eyes and glanced at Qin Zhou. Immediately, she sneered in disgust and said, And here I thought that there was only us and that blockhead in this deep mountain forest. So it's actually a pair of dogs having an affair here. Senior sister by you mean that these two people, they are doing that kind of thing here. Hua Bus stroked her hair and sneered. This is the wilderness, and it's getting dark. They're a man and a woman alone. What do you think they can do? When everyone heard this, the amazement on their faces instantly turned into disgust and mockery. Listening to senior sister Bu's words, it's true. If it wasn't for an illicit relationship, why would a man and woman come to this wilderness? Chapter 11:17. Hua Bus smiled viciously. You can't blame her. Some women are too weak and have poor backgrounds. Other than offering their bodies to men, they have no other way to survive. Qin Zhou's brain worked very slowly, but he could tell that these people were bad-mouthing his junior sister. His face turned red and he roared, Shut up. Don't say bad things about little junior sister. Big blockhead is so protective of his little lover. Stop talking nonsense with him. Let's quickly take this sky-shaking bear. Why don't we leave the bear penis for Big Blockhead? With such a beautiful little lover, won't he have to work harder? Haha, sick senior brother. You are so mean. Huabiyue smiled and walked up, touching the sky-shaking bear. The huge sky-shaking bear's corpse disappeared instantly, including the little bears. Clearly, she had a storage ring on her. After taking the sky-shaking bear's corpse, the 7 to 8 people were about to leave, laughing. Only Bai Yang's face was full of regret, so ashamed that he could not even lift his head. You are not allowed to leave. Qinzhou suddenly came to his senses. Return the bear to me. I killed it. Huabiyue looked at him in disdain. So what if I don't return it? Do you still dare to attack me? Qinzhou's eyes were red with anxiety. He did not understand why these people were so overboard. He was the one who killed the bear, but these people wanted to snatch it away. Moreover, these people had just said bad things about his junior sister. Seeing that Huabiyue and the others were about to leave again, Qinzhou activated the spiritual power in his body and punched out. There was a loud bang. The huge tree next to it, which was as thick as a water basin, swayed and fell. Qinzhou was like a beast released from its cage, showing its ferocity. Return the bear to me. Huabiyue and the others were all shocked by this sudden attack, especially when they saw Qinzhou's bell-like eyes. Huabiyue and the others all retreated in fear. When she realized that she had been scared by a fool, Huabiyue was instantly angered. You dare to attack me? Do you know who I am? We are disciples of the Silver Feather Palace and new students who are about to enter the Starry School. You're just a lousy sect that came from a corner. If you were to touch us, just wait to be annihilated by my Silver Plume Palace. Qinzhou, who was about to rush over and beat Huabiyue up, suddenly stopped. There was confusion, forbearance, and pain on his face. But the fist that was raised to hit Huabiyue was put down. Huabiyue laughed when she saw him like this. Blockhead, you're not smart, but you're quite smart. Senior Biyue, why don't you think about it? With the reputation of our Silver Feather Palace, who wouldn't be afraid of us? Who wouldn't know what's good for them? Big fool, weren't you very awe-inspiring just now? Why are you scared now? One of them took a step forward and heavily kicked Qinzhou's abdomen. That kick was infused with spiritual power. Qinzhou retreated again, and his face turned pale. He clutched his stomach and glared at them angrily. You snatched my bear and beat me. Ha ha, we snatched your bear and beat you. So what? Where did this idiot come from? How dare you threaten us just now? Who do you think you are? Chapter 11:18. Bai Yang paced around anxiously. Senior sister, don't hit him anymore. Otherwise, he might die. Let's go. Huabiyue, on the other hand, was tidying her hair as she said slowly, there's no rush. We've been traversing through this desolate mountain range for the past few days, just to train before the Starry School examinations. Not only are the senior and junior brothers angry, I'm also unhappy. Coincidentally, we met this thick-skinned idiot today. Let's beat him up and vent our anger. We will definitely pass the Starry School examination in the future. Haha, senior sister Biyue is right. Isn't this kind of thick-skinned idiot meant to be our punching bag? Huabiyue smiled faintly. Suddenly, a barbed steel whip appeared in her hand, and she swung it towards Qinzhou. Qinzhou felt a tearing pain on his body. A large piece of his clothes was instantly torn off, along with a piece of flesh. He let out a shrill scream, his eyes red. You are too much. But very quickly, a sentence from a Silver Feather Palace disciple at the side caused his actions to stop abruptly once again. Ha! You really dare to fight us? I guarantee that if you touch us, your sleeping little lover and your stupid Xiaoyao school, right? They will all be destroyed because of you. Can you bear the consequences? The veins on Qinyu's forehead and neck bulged. He was extremely angry, causing his face to be filled with the ferocity of a beast. But in his mind, the voices that had been engraved into his soul reverberated again and again. Qinjiu, why did you hurt the young master of the Li clan? Do you know that the Qin clan cannot afford to offend them? I don't have a stupid son like you. Get lost. Your sister died because of you. It's all because you offended someone you shouldn't have. Qinjiu, you killed your sister. Sob, sob, sob. The Qin clan has a big idiot who only has brute force but no brains. Everyone, come and beat the idiot. Beat the idiot. Look, the stuttering idiot from the Qin clan is here. Hurry up and throw stones at him. Throw them at him. Let me tell you, don't get close to that idiot from the Qin clan. He can kill people. The young master of the Li clan was killed by that idiot with one punch. How can such a murderer stay in our town? Chase him out. Chase the Qin family's murderous idiot out. Piak. A whip ruthlessly lashed on Qinjiu's body, taking away another piece of his flesh. Qinjiu's hands slowly drooped down. Her knees bent as she knelt on the ground. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't kill anyone. He couldn't get his junior sister and the Xiao Yao school into trouble. Master, eldest brother, third brother, fourth sister, fifth brother, little sister, seventh brother, and the carefree sect. Everyone is so nice. He had never been so happy. Therefore, even if he were to die, he could not implicate the sect. Blockhead, how about I give you a chance? As long as you crawl under my crotch and bark like a dog 3 times, I'll let you go. How about that? Chapter 1119. Senior brother, senior sister, don't make trouble anymore. Bai Yang anxiously shouts, you guys are really going too far. Get lost. The person who just spoke pushes Bai Yang away, sneering. Bai Yang, if you like to pretend to be a good person, that's your business. Don't get in our way again. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. Blockhead, have you thought it through? That person lifts the hem of his clothes and takes a step forward, smiling extremely vulgarly. Quickly crawl under my crotch like a dog. Qinjiu tightly clenches his fists, his eyes red as he glares at them, motionless. Hua Bue suddenly changes the direction of the whip, ruthlessly lashing it in Mine's direction. If you don't listen and become a dog for us to play with, don't blame us for being impolite to your little lover. The barbed whip whistles as it flies towards Mine's face. If it hits its target, Mine's face will be directly ruined. Qinjiu's eyes suddenly widen, and without thinking, he flies over. Junior sister. Smack! The whip ruthlessly lashes Qinjiu's back, and in a split second, his back is drenched in blood. Even the blood on Qinjiu's face is mixed with sweat, dripping onto Mine's snow-white face. Qinjiu is flustered, reaching out in a flurry to wipe it off for Mine, but he's afraid that his clumsy hands and feet will hurt her. Just then, her long eyelashes gently tremble, and Mine opens her eyes. Second brother? Mine sees Qinjiu so close, as if he's protecting her, and is a little confused for a moment. The smell of blood rushes into her nose, and immediately after, Qinjiu's scarred body comes into view. Second brother, what's going on? Who hurt you? Mine abruptly sits up, looking at the badly mutilated wounds. She simply can't believe her eyes. She had just entered the space to study talisman drawing for a few hours, and then slept. How could second brother be hurt like this when she woke up? Qinjiu shows a silly smile, then awkwardly climbs up, his face full of guilt and remorse. I'm sorry, junior sister, I woke you up. At this time, you still care about such a trivial matter as waking you up? Mu Yin snappily glares at him. She quickly takes out an elixir, crushes it into powder, and applies it to Qinjiu's wound. She generously took out a stack of healing talismans and had him burn them to heal his wounds. Qinjiu opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but Mu Yin was already looking at Hua Bue and the others not far away. She narrowed her eyes. Second senior brother, did these people hurt you? Qinjiu lowered her head. Her face was gloomy and her voice was hoarse. I'm sorry, junior sister. I caused trouble. Did I cause trouble? Mine sneers. Everyone in the carefree sect was full of evil tricks. Even Xiao Qi and Yin Ruhan had times when they were two-faced. However, Second senior brother Chinjio was an honest and well-behaved child. Every time he went out to cause trouble, he would hit wherever they pointed. When it came to taking the blame, he was more proactive than anyone else. If second senior brother is going to get into trouble, then she will write the name Jun Mine upside down. Muyin brushed away the grass on her body and stood up. Her gaze landed on Hua Biyue and the others. She randomly pointed at a person and crooked her finger. The man seems to be possessed. He blankly walks towards her, his face still flushed. Chapter 11:20. The girl with skin as white as snow smiles brightly, like the brightest moonlight, the most brilliant sun, the most beautiful spring flower. The man's eyes are glued to her. The words that come out of his mouth are completely thoughtless. He spills out everything that just happened, like beans being poured out of a bamboo tube. The man's gaze becomes more and more infatuated, while Mine's expression becomes colder and colder. A faint, bone-piercing, killing intent emerges in her eyes. Good, very good. You actually dare to bully her second senior brother like this. There's a road to heaven, but you don't want to take it. There's no door to hell, but you insist on barging in. You shameless slut. You actually dare to seduce a man in front of me? Hua Biyue suddenly comes back to her senses, seeing that the fellow disciples who usually fawn over her are all looking at Mayan with an infatuated look. Immediately fuming with anger, she swings the whip and ruthlessly lashes it towards Mayan. Before Mayan can move, Chinjio has already taken a step forward, suddenly grabs the whip, and ruthlessly flings it. Don't hurt little junior sister. Hua Biyue staggers from being flung and falls to the ground in a sorry state. She suddenly raises her head, not daring to believe that the blockhead that they just beat and scolded would actually dare to resist her. Chinjio flips Hua Biyue over, but his face suddenly flashes with alarm and panic. He looks at Mayan, his face full of guilt and self-blame. Little junior sister, it's all my fault. It has nothing to do with you. If you want to take revenge on me. Xiao Yao sect is fine. You're all fine. Seeing Chinjio panicking, wishing that he could kneel down in front of Hua Biyue and beg her to let the Xiao Yao sect off, Mayan facepalms. She finally knows why her second senior brother, who is so powerful, would be tossed around so miserably by this group of jumping clowns. Mayan takes a deep breath, grabs Chinjio's hand, holding his hand and burning healing talismans for him, and says, "Second senior brother, it's clearly these people who are at fault, and you're also stronger than them. Why didn't you resist? Why did you let them bully you?" Chinju stares blankly, and after a long while he stutters. Can't cause trouble, Silver. Silver Feather Palace is very powerful. Can't involve you, Mine wanted to sneer. Who cares if it's the Silver Feather Palace or the Gold Feather Palace? Jun Mayan has never been afraid of being implicated. However, when he saw Chinjio's anxious and sweaty face, he felt so guilty that he was about to cry. Muyin puts away her teasing mood. She looked straight into Chinjio's eyes and slowly said, "Second senior brother, do you think you did something wrong just now?" Chinjio was at a loss for a moment. She hesitantly shook her head and said, I didn't. I've been guarding little junior sister obediently. Eldest senior apprentice brother. This is what he said. Mine's expression becomes more and more gentle. That's right, second senior brother didn't do anything wrong. You killed the heaven-shaking bear, and they wanted to take it away. Not only did they take away the sky-shaking bear, they even beat you up and humiliated you for no reason. They're the ones in the wrong, aren't they? Chinju nodded hesitantly. They are not good people. They snatched the bear and scolded junior sister. Chapter 11:21. Chinjio is startled. He shakes his head and waves his hands. No, I can't. I'll get into trouble. Mother said that if I get into trouble, I'll be implicated and I'll die. I'll die. Sister is dead. I don't want anyone to die anymore. I don't want junior sister to die. I don't want senior brother, junior brother to die. As he speaks, Qin seems to think of that scene, and his tears roll down uncontrollably. He's obviously a big and tall man, but he cries like a wrong child. Why is he so obedient, doesn't get into trouble, doesn't beat people, but he still implicates the school? Why is he so stupid? Why can't he do anything well? I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I can't do anything. Well, little junior sister, I'm sorry. Mine takes out a handkerchief and gently wipes the tears on Qin face. Her voice is so gentle that it seems to be soaked in water. Second brother, don't talk nonsense. How are you stupid? Your cultivation and strength are the best in the school. Every time we need help, you always try your best to help us. When third brother is sick, no one is willing to trust or get close to him, but he is willing to let you bleed for him. And when I just arrived at the Xiaoyao school, you were the first to show kindness to me, and you even took the initiative to cook for me. Second brother, you're very good. You're the treasure of our Xiaoyao school. If anyone dares to bully you, the other 7 brothers and sisters will not let them off lightly. Qin looks up at the bright and beautiful girl in front of him. Her eyes are so bright, so gentle. Her voice is so clear, so pleasant to listen to. Throughout his life, Qin had always been mocked, despised, and cursed. No one had ever spoken to him in such a gentle manner. No one had ever told him that he was very, very good. Not only was he not a trouble, he was also a treasure. He's so happy, but he doesn't know why he can't stop his tears. They keep falling down like pearls from a broken necklace. After being beaten and humiliated by Hua Biyue and the others, Qin face is full of blood and dust. Now his face is full of tears, washing away the blood and dirt, making him look even more ugly and dirty. However, Muyin didn't dislike it at all. She carefully wiped his face clean before continuing. Second senior brother, I'll say it again. In the future, don't be afraid of causing trouble. Even if you cause a huge disaster, us brothers and sisters will settle it for you. Qin eyes widened slightly. All of them can be settled? Mine gives a carefree smile, especially boasting shamelessly. Of course, you don't believe that we can handle the scolding? Don't forget what happened to the Guei sect. Qin bell-like eyes widened even more, faintly flickering with excitement. Guei sect has been beaten until they are afraid. Be obedient. That's right. Since the whole unitary sect is afraid of being beaten up, why should the Silver Feather Palace and the Golden Feather Palace be afraid? Mu Yan's voice was slightly low, carrying a dense killing intent. So, second senior brother, now it's your turn to complain and take revenge. Even if the God of Heaven came, he wouldn't be able to bully the people of the Xiaoyao sect. Qin suddenly turned around and glared at Hua Biyue and the rest. Hua Biyue and the rest took a few steps back in fear. Chapter 11:22. Hua Biyue shouted fiercely, Don't mess around. We are from the Silver Feather Palace. Have you thought about the consequences of attacking us? Qin walked towards them step by step. His footsteps were firm, and his eyes were resolute. Little sister said, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of you. You. Return my bear. He suddenly raised his huge fist and smashed it towards Hua Biyue and the others with spiritual power that was like a storm. After a short while, Hua Biyue and the rest, except for Bai Yong, were all lying on the ground, wailing in pain. The huge corpse of the heaven-shaking bear had naturally been taken out. Qin carried the bear's body and happily returned to Mu Yin. Little sister, I took revenge. Mu Yin fiddled with the Tian Mo Qin and sighed in her heart. Sure enough, her second senior brother was kind. These people had beaten him until he was covered in cuts and bruises. His flesh was a bloody mess, and they even made him crawl into their pants. In the end, second senior brother only beat them up with his fist. The most serious one only had a few broken ribs. But Mu Yin did not say anything. She smiled. Why did second senior brother let that kid go? Bai Yang was the only one in Hua Biyue's group who was let go. He was so scared that his face turned pale. He trembled and could not move. Qin said, He is a good person. He pleaded for me. I won't hit him. Okay, then we won't hit him. Mu Yin smiled. Let's go somewhere else to wait for eldest senior brother. As for whether eldest senior brother could find them, they were not afraid. Because the 6 of them had the tracking talisman drawn by Mu Yin. As long as they burned the talisman, they could find her position directly. Qin Jiu nodded. There was no anger, grievance, and sadness on his face. Instead, he had a happy smile like a child. Seeing the two leave, Bai Yang suddenly came to his senses and rushed to Hua Biyue. Senior sister, are you okay? Useless. Hua Biyue slapped Bai Yang's face. After that, he glared at the direction where Mu Yin and the others had left and screamed at the top of his voice. Bitches, idiots, just you wait. I will remember that you are from the Xiaoyao sect. Since you have offended my Silver Feather Palace, I will definitely tear you to pieces and make you die a horrible death. Mine's footsteps slightly falter. A fierce chill flashes through her eyes. Initially, he had intended to let this group of fellows off on account of his second senior brother. But since they wanted to court death, then she might as well fulfill their wish. Her slender hands pressed on the strings and gently plucked the strings. The smooth music floated around Hua Biyue and the others. Qin Jiu laughed foolishly and said, Little junior sister plays the zither very, very well. Mayan sneers. The sound of the zither is pleasant to hear, but it's a song of death. The two of them slowly walked for a while, and Hua Biyue and the rest were almost out of sight. Not long afterward, screams and furious roars sounded from afar. Qin Jiu blinks and turns to look behind her. She's just about to ask Mine what happened. Luo Yu's figure scurried out, and her hands were still pushing Chu Moli's wheelchair. 6th senior sister, 2nd senior brother? Why are you here? It's easy for us to find you. Hee hee, 6th senior sister, look what I found. It's a spirit snake egg. It's rare and delicious. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.